I see that. That's nice. That's nice. Hey, you're frozen on my screen.
Well, I'm not frozen here.
I just see your like goofy face on there, and that's it.
I don't
How
know.
how do I remove you from stage and put you back in stage? Here, let's do that. Remove from stage. Add to stage. Let's see if that does it. No, now you're just a black screen. That's weird.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
That's interesting.
All right. Well, we'll go with it. Yeah. See, Bill says he just sees a black screen for Charlie too. Something's wrong with your video, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Yo, YouTube. Welcome back to the live Wednesday show. We've got some things to chat about, and we know you guys have stuff to chat about, so we want to make sure we get to as much as we possibly can. So we're in the important sports week of Super Bowl. Crazy, huh?
We are.
I can't believe it's here already.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be gone before you know it.
Yeah. Which that's fine. But yeah, so we've got that. We got the Olympics starting on Thursday or Friday. I think it is the 6th. Friday
opening ceremonies.
So we got Winter Olympics starting. We're at basically the halfway point in the NBA season. NHL's underway. Charlie's frozen like an iguana. That's funny. Quick side note before we continue on here. I got a buddy who lives towards the Everglades area, and he was walking his dog, and an iguana hit him in the head, fell out of the tree. And he's like, well, you know, it sounds kind of funny when you say it, but he's like, these things are like 30 pounds. They're huge.
Yeah.
So he's like, that thing hit me. It felt like I got hit over the head with a brick, you know? So he's like, so I'm laying on the ground kind of dazed, like, what just happened? I was walking my dog, and then all of a sudden I look over and there's this like stiff iguana laying there. So pretty wild.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Florida problems, you know. Florida's unique in many ways. Ooh, and now I see a goat.
Yeah, that's temporary too. You figure that out.
So I'm talking to a goat. I like that. That works. But yeah, that whole like frozen iguana thing, that's bizarre.
Yeah, they just like drop out of trees and stuff.
Yeah, and so I learned something new about them in the fact that they're an invasive species. They're not indigenous to the area.
Right.
So you're not supposed to, quote unquote, reanimate them, which basically is warming them up.
The reanimator.
You're supposed to destroy them. And I guess there's a bunch of cultures that like have different dishes that they eat them in and stuff. And I was like, wow, I had no idea about any of this about iguanas. So it was very educational for me this past week. But anyway, enough about iguanas.
On that rabbit hole.
What do you mean?
Just all the iguana research.
They were talking about it on the radio one morning when I was listening.
Yeah.
You know how it's like it just comes up. Oh, you know, they're falling out of trees, and then somebody's like, "Did you know iguanas?" And oh no, did you know iguanas? You know, I just toss all like random crap facts. I think people from, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone's in the chat in the area and you know deals with the iguana problem. But I feel like it's one of those things where if you're in Florida, you kind of know more about them, right? Because they're there.
Yeah.
So you know, it's some of that's probably more common fact, but I just didn't know any of that. So it's no type of creature we see around in the frozen tundra.
Quote unquote iguana problem.
Iguana, yeah. Iguana. I don't know. Iguana. However you want to pronounce it. But yeah, so we have some really interesting sports stuff going on right now. College basketball. You know, it's like, you know, pitchers and catchers report in like 2 weeks. I think it was off a week last week when we talked about it. So this is exciting. I mean, this is you know, one of the hottest times of the year for selling cards. You can move your Super Bowl stuff and start getting your baseball stuff out. You know, prospects and things are good. Baseball the bigger products are starting to hit. So it's I think it's going to be a really fun selling season for these next couple of months. Customers are going to be getting their tax returns very shortly. Hopefully they get returns. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people, it goes the other way for them.
Yeah.
Which is, but if people are getting money back, that it would be, you can be a place where they can spend it at. So this is a great time to get stuff listed and put promotions out there and advertise yourself and send newsletters and do whatever you can to try to get some of those extra bucks while the customer still has it.
For sure.
So I've got tons of stuff to list. I think we just talked about this pretty much every week at this point. I got tons of good stuff to list. I've been grabbing like a little rack of Favre stuff, but I still sell more Favre cards than anything else.
Sure.
So I've been just kind of grabbing. I have like five row boxes of Favre stuff. I've just been grabbing like a stack here or there, scanning them in. It's getting me sales on older Favre listings because I'll sell one of the new ones and then a bunch of the old ones. So I've been using that to move stuff. But the big news is I need to do more live selling. I think that's something that we all understand at this point is a smart part to your business if you're going to sell cards. I do not particularly care for doing the live selling, nor do I have a lot of the time. So I have hired someone to do live shows for me. We're going to start with just once a week and just kind of get our bearings on it. And they're going to run the show, do the live selling. They can keep any tips, that kind of thing. And then I'll do all the packing and shipping. So essentially I would just do the back end of the show through Whatnot, of course. So I'm very excited about that. I'd love to get to like 3 to 4 shows a week. I just want to be realistic and practice what I preach, right? We talked about this a lot. When you get started in this, don't list 10,000 listings in day one because you're not ready for that. When you get the sales and just organizational wise and so forth. So I'm going to pace myself.
Wait. What are you going to be doing? Like, what is your involvement?
Well, it's my Whatnot, and I'm hiring someone to do the live show.
You're hiring someone to do the live show for you.
That's correct. So I'm hiring a seller.
So why don't you want to do it yourself? I mean,
because I don't want to.
I mean, you're not uncomfortable on camera or anything. You do tons of videos.
No, I just don't enjoy it, and it's hard because of the time. You have to commit to certain times, and I don't really want to do that. I got enough other stuff going on. And even when it's going to be a time available where we could both be available for the show time, there's enough like shipping and listing and other things that I got to do that I'm going to use my time to do that and pay someone to do the live show.
So now you're an employer.
Yes.
Nice. Or do you have a benefits plan?
No. No. This is going to be very simple starting out. I want to. Do you use Facebook at all, Charlie?
I still
troll on there a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you been seeing more and more and more ads on there saying like hiring a breaker this much per hour? And have you seen that?
No.
Like golden cards auctions and stuff like that. There's a bunch of them in our area. That are hiring like breakers and stuff, like BB Sports. He's got oh gosh, what's his name? I'm gonna screw this up.
Fred.
Pete Fred. Yeah. How can I get Fred wrong? And obviously he's a physical shop and all that, so that changes it a little bit and breaks all day. But yeah, so we've come to an agreement on what the pay will be starting out, and then we'll try to build it into something, maybe add a commission to it based on how much sales are. And
okay,
so I haven't worked out the entire like a full-time pay structure if it gets to that point, but I'll fight the battles as they go. But
and where are you gonna broadcast from?
Depends. The seller can broadcast from where they are if they'd like. The first few shows will be in my office. Just to kind of, break into it, right? And make sure we have the right things, we're doing it the right way. And,
Yeah.
they can see the back end side of, packing and shipping it and that kind of thing. And then, the intention would be, okay, once or twice a week, I would drop off a box or two of cards and I would say, here, these are the things I need you to auction this week, and schedule the shows, and they sell, I pick up, and then I ship. That's the
Okay.
goal. Yeah. So kind of a fun venture. We'll see how it goes. If it gets to the point where I'm like, hey, I want to do more of this, on the camera side, well, then I could have two of us doing live shows too.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do too many shows per se. As long as the pay structure is correct,
Sure.
you don't want to be paying more than what you'd be making, obviously. So that's where I want to kind of take my time with it and see how it goes.
Okay.
You having any success over there, or what's going on? Your camera's off or something.
Yeah, I could try. I turned it off when it wasn't working right. So
yeah, I had you on camera when we were set up, and then you froze. And then I'm like, oh, well, once the show starts, he'll unfreeze. And no, you were still frozen.
Yeah, it doesn't show frozen on my end. Like, everything seems normal on my end.
No, I just see a black screen now. We don't even see you.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of my exciting news. I decided a while ago, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it, but I decided a while ago that I really wasn't that interested in doing the live show, the live sales myself. I just don't enjoy it that much. And then I had to decide, okay, what does this look like if I try to pay somebody and when somebody want to do it? And it worked out. So hoping to start on Super Bowl Sunday. So this Sunday,
okay,
we do our first show. We're going to try to do like 4:00 Sundays every week. Because of course this person has a real job too. And then try to add, 2 weekdays in there, maybe a second show on Sunday, depending on how it goes. But I have enough stuff sitting here that we could do shows for months. And then, once we get kicking off, and this is something we're doing regularly, when I do my buying, I'm going to switch my buying focus a bit to more things that would lend themselves to selling live.
Okay.
Versus obviously everything that I procure now, I'm looking to list, static list. Which I still have plenty of stuff I can do that with too, but future pickups, I'll have to do more card shows, pick up, if inventory is moving faster, you got to buy inventory faster. You and I talk about that all the time. We're like, live selling is not like the complete answer either, because it has its own challenges.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. I'm like, okay, if I do one show a week, it's not going to be hard for me to supply, inventory for that one show. But yeah, as I'm doing buying and I'm, looking through more boxes and stuff, there's gonna be a little bit more focus on, okay, well, do I think this will perform live? And to some degree, it's like when you start, the way we started, you're just buying stuff and giving it a shot and see if it goes. The good news is if I put it on a live show and it doesn't sell, I can always just list it.
That's true.
So gives me some options. I really want to continue to build on Whatnot. I've gotten followers keep coming in. I keep getting static sales. And I think that, regular live show schedule, I think that will help me sell some more static cards as well.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I haven't figured out, I did add this person, my employee, to my Whatnot access, like seller. You can add a seller on your account. So I did do that. That went really well. The one thing I want to try to do is set up a different shipping policy. Because I was going basically free shipping. But I think I'd like to change that, because you want to at least hit that $1.99 price on anything you sell, right? To
Right.
make sure you have some profit. So, and I still want to do $1 starts. So I think I want to do like $1 start with $1 shipping. But I want to also do a decreased shipping amount for additional purchases, because I think that will entice your shoppers to buy more than one card. Once they're committed to one card in that live show, they're going to want to go after more if they're getting a discount on the shipping, right?
Right.
But I can't figure out how to set that. I can't figure out how to set up that shipping policy on Whatnot. So if anybody knows, give me a shout and let me know, or post here. Because I was trying to work that out. Like, how do you do a discounted shipping for each additional item? And there's no way to do it. And I was on the desktop. I wasn't on the app. So it should have.
You can just set a max shipping too, can't you?
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to do that either. I guess I could.
That's what I see in most streams.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's actually a pretty good option. Yeah, because you could do like $1 shipping with max shipping of $5, right? Or something like that, $4. Because that would allow them to buy up to basically a package weight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then you just ship it ground.
I shop in when there's a max shipping, because then I know it's worth my time if I build a bundle in there.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So now most of the ones that you're in, are they doing $1 with a max of 5?
No, usually it's just like $4.99 max shipping. And then it adjusts it as you make each purchase.
Right.
So it'll say like $360 shipping on the first item, and then like a second item, it'll go to whatever, $4, third one $4.99, and then after that it'll say free.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the one other thing I'll spend a little bit more time in that. It's really shallow what your options are when you set up your shipping policies on there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, why is this all there is? Like, especially on a site where you can sell basically anything. You should have all kinds of different options, like flat rate options, and I don't know, max dimensions type stuff for box shipping. Like, there should be all kinds of stuff, and it's like really simple, stupid, and doesn't allow for a lot of like
part, honestly.
It is.
Yeah.
So, and that's the other thing I like about doing the live shows there, because the static sales are great, but they force people to pay the ground advantage shipping on the sales.
Yep.
So I want to do the live shows to give my customers there an opportunity to buy, not only buy in the live, but also buy in the static and pay less.
Yep, for sure.
And I wonder, now that I say that, I wonder how that works. So let's say they bought an item in my live auction, which would be $1 shipping, and then they buy one card out of the store. Do they just pay ground advantage still?
That I don't know. I've never,
because it would be two different shipping policies. So stupid. They could really simplify this.
All right, here's what I'm going to do, Adam. I am going to completely drop out.
Sure.
And well, I can't, because right now it's showing me in control of the stream, I think.
What? That's impossible. I'm the one who set it up.
I know, but it's got me in the first position now. So anyway, I'm gonna do some things here to try and get my way back.
Okay.
So I'll probably drop off somehow here for a minute.
You know what? Yeah, you might have to restart your thermal label. Maybe that'll fix it.
Speaking of that, we have a development there.
Yeah.
And it's a good one. Like, I'm pretty happy about this. Here, let's take a look. All right, we got a new Rollo printer delivered today. We've got it hooked up. Let's see how it performs. If we can print these 3 labels without a phantom label or a skip or a misfeed. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 it is. All perfect. Look at that.
Wow, and all you had to do was pay for an overpriced printer, so that's not so bad.
Great success. I now have a printer that works correctly every single time.
That's good. You do need that.
The footprint fits perfectly under the Ricoh.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. So Giles, I say take a hike. Rollo's the way to go.
How much did you pay for it?
Like 130, something like that. So twice as much as the Rollo, right? Well, yours was free. You can't compare your price.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, if it's getting you what you need and it works, that matters. Yeah. At least it's an office expense. You can write it off.
Showed up today, 5 minutes of setup, worked right from the start. So
sweet.
Yeah. All right. Let me see what I can do about this camera.
Okay. We'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So it's just us, Chat and me. How about that? Very intimate show tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Hopefully Charlie will get back on soon, but as you saw or didn't see, he's not able to get the camera functioning correctly. All right. So one of the things we wanted to talk about tonight was looking at strategies for pricing, right? And continuing your inventory growth for those who have been doing this for a while. Increasing your margins, right? So you want to sell cards try to sell them for bigger prices, but you also got to buy them cheaper. And that is definitely a challenge in what we do. Now, Charlie's talked about in the Discord, he talked about, trying to push up to like $4.99 or more cards, $4.99 more or more card pricing. And that's probably about where I am too. In most cases. Oh, look at that. There he is. That's probably about where I am in most cases. Yeah, it is kind of dark. Where I am in most cases too, but I don't specifically look for that price point. I still just look at everything as a margin. If I can buy a card for $0.10 and sell it for $2, I'm still going to list a $2 card. Especially if it has velocity, or quick sell through rate, whatever you want to call it. Those are all the same terms, but yeah, so I'm not quite as hard on the $4.99 floor type thing, but I would say the vast majority, I mean, my average sale price hasn't really changed a whole lot since I started doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is saying something because most of the cards I listed when I started were a lot more expensive because I was listing stuff out of PC and buying rare 90s inserts and things like that when and the market was hot at the time too. Prices were, elevated besides. But I'm at like that 385-ish range, 387-ish, I think it was what it was last time I looked at it. It's been a couple months, but I can't imagine it's changed drastically. And I kind of, that to me seems like the right price point for an average card sale. Now my order size, the price on my order size, like per ticket price is kind of what I concentrate more on.
Mm-hmm.
If I have 10 orders and they're all $1.99 cards, but each order is 10 cards each, and I'm getting, $10, $15 or whatever out of that order, to me, that was worth it. If I paid, $1 for those 10 cards, for my cost. So I tend to look at it more on the volume side. Now, to be fair, if you're pulling 10 cards for a $10 order versus one card for a $10 card sale, that is going to take you more time, right? Because you got to pull all 10 of those. You got to throw them in a, card saver and ship them out. But I have a pretty efficient, inventory system. So I don't know that adds enough on it that it doesn't really, make it a negative to selling cards that way. And sometimes it's just easier to find cards you can sell for $2. You have to put the margins start shrinking the higher you get on the prices, obviously,
Yeah.
So you have to be a little bit more careful. You're going to spend more time sourcing, essentially. You're probably not going to just have boxes of cards laying around that are $15 to $20 that you bought for $1 a piece, right? So, and then you have a bigger dollar cost investment in those cards too. So you do have to move them faster because you're going to have more money tied up in them. Versus a box of cards you bought at $0.25 a piece, you maybe got 30-40 bucks in it. You sell a few of them, you're back even, and then the rest of it, if it sits there, that's fine. So it's a little bit more the longer play for the return, right? As opposed to buying a $10,000 card and selling it for $12,000. Yeah, the margins are smaller, but you get $2,000 right away, right?
Right.
Versus to get $2,000 doing what we're doing, it's going to take you a couple of weeks, and you're going to have to sling a lot of cardboard to get there. Not even a couple of weeks. I mean, between the two stores and whatnot and collects and all that, I mean, I'm probably doing like 15,000 a month gross.
Okay.
So to do that on cards you're buying for $10 and selling for $15, it's going to be a lot of work to get there too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you might have more velocity on those cards, like you might be able to turn them faster, but you're getting less money out of what you're cost. I'm talking where you don't have the cost in it. So that out of that 15,000 I do in a month, I probably bought $400 to $600 was my investment in that month into inventory.
Mm-hmm.
In some months it's a lot less than that. We go weeks now where we don't buy anything. At least I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
sometimes months.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes where it's like, I just bought $400 worth of stuff like 3 days in a row, so because it's that always be buying when it's right. So you can't always time that. And if I'm going to go to a show, I'm going to buy stuff, because otherwise now it's a bigger waste of my time and money if I don't
absolutely
pick anything up. So there's always going to be this constant balance of where do you invest your time to make the money, and it's going to be somewhere, regardless of how you do it. Whether you're selling live, you're selling low end, you're selling high end, we've talked about this way early on in the show. We talked about not why we don't sell high end cards, because it's just as much work, and it's not work I like to do. I don't want to buy a $5,000 card and then spend all my time trying to shop it out to somebody who would give me $7,000 for it. Yeah. And you got to dicker with the comps, and the payment services are different. Or you got to go to a bunch of shows and try to sell it, and you can take your $10 card, scan it in, and leave it in the drawer and forget about it. You don't have to do anything with it, and eventually somebody will pick it up for the $1.99, and then you just mail it. So it's less, bargain contact and things like that, and you're not putting as much expense into selling a card like that really either, as you are the bigger dollar card, because you got to get out there and try to find a buyer.
Yeah.
That's because true. If you were able to buy it at 7,000, it's not going to be easy to sell it at 9,000.
Yeah, I think the bigger dollar card you get, maybe the harder it is to find those really good deals, unless you find somebody who's urgent to sell, which I guess that happens too.
And how many people are buying the $9,000 card to keep for their precious little PC? They're not. They're buying it to try to sell it and make money on it. So now your market usually is going to be somebody else who needs to have meat on the bones too, to do something with it. In a lot of cases.
Yeah.
If you're going to the National and you're shopping, stuff around, you'll find people spending, $8,000-9,000 on cards for their PC.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like the everyday collector. Now, obviously we're not doing that. We're not going that high. I went from $5 cards to $5,000 cards, but I wanted to have a better example of like how it can divide, you know, how much it can divide based on those price points. Because I saw a lot of $1.99 cards. It's a lot of cards to pull out. It's a lot of cards to ship out, but they add up quick. You get a lot of, dollar, and you pile them all up, especially when you're doing multi-card orders.
Yeah, and I think that's the trade-off, right? Just like the trade-off of you not really wanting to live sell yourself. Everybody's got their own way of they want to operate, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And some people want to move 100 to 300 cards a day, and they have the systems built up to do that, like you have. Other people want to sell 4 or 5 cards a day, and they want the margins to cover that, So we say this time and time again. Everybody's got their own thing, right? Everybody's got their own way of doing things and what they want to accomplish. We talked the last couple of weeks about the different stages of sellers, and you're definitely a mature seller, and what that means is you've got the systems nailed, you've got the margins nailed. It works for you and it works for some others. I have some success with your model, and I do some little tweaks myself as well. It just depends on where you're at in your journey and what you in particular want to put in and get out.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they all take, if you want to be successful, they're all going to take an amount of work, right? Yeah. It's not like you just, I set this up and now I'm a gazillionaire and I sit on beaches. So you have to decide where do you want to invest that time?
Yeah.
How much capital do you want to tie up? Like there's some pieces that you have to make decisions about first, and then that will help dictate like what you should be buying and selling, to be successful. Well, I don't want to have a lot of contact with people. I just want to sit in my basement and sell cards online. Well, you're not going to want to sell $7,000 cards then, because you're going to have to talk to people.
Right.
So, I don't want to ship 300 cards a day. Okay. Well, then you're not going to sell high margin cards, but quantity.
Yeah.
Right. Which is the only way you can really do it to make real money. So, there's a bunch of different approaches. It's interesting to see it. One of the things that I noticed on Discord is the people who post like their successful live shows, they talk about, well, now I want to start a store and I want to get more stuff on their static to sell. Right. And then us static sellers are like, okay, well, we got to start doing live shows and start selling stuff live. So I feel like we're all having growth, but it's not necessarily in the same, we didn't necessarily come from the same place.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get tips from each other on how to build a successful business and play in a lot of playgrounds. I have 4 stores that I manage. If you count Whatnot collects as their own stores, which you kind of do. I mean, it's another marketplace, and then 2 eBay stores, and it's like, geez, I never thought I would have that much. No, it's not. To me, it's not difficult. Yeah, I log out of one, log into another. It's no big deal. But you're right. There are some sellers that are like, I don't want to do that. I just want to have 2,000 items max in my store, and I want to try to make as much money with that as I can. Okay, well, it's going to be more work on another side. You're going to spend more time like trying to source the right cards and being more picky and, doing different things to get there, trying to find margins, looking at all the stats and trying to predict who's going to go up in price. And like, you have to do more for that, on that side. But you don't have to spend as much time packing and shipping or pulling the cards, or, you know what I mean? So it's like the live shows, that's the hot thing, right? I sell live and I turn all these cards really fast. Well, guess what? You got to get more cards right away. They sell for less and they sell faster, but then now you have sourcing issues. Where I even see that in some of my Facebook groups that are like, oh, somebody sell me 5,000 cards because I'm out and I have live shows scheduled. I'm like, whoa, that sounds pretty wild. we kind of almost to some degree even have the opposite problem of that. We're like, well, we got boxes here. We just got to keep scanning and getting through them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting where things go. Look at how much growth we've seen in what we do in like these last couple of years. It's crazy. We were even talking earlier today. We both got notices that we were due to purchase a haystack, right? We were on the wait list. We signed up on the wait list like 2 nationals ago, and we saw this thing. And we each got an email that, hey, if you want a haystack, it's in. And $399 for a baseball card photo studio, essentially, is what it is. Now, I know you already have one, so obviously we wouldn't be buying one. But it's like, if you would have told me a couple of years ago that this was even going to be a thing, I was like, what? Are you crazy? Who would do that?
Was it really in Cleveland where we signed up on the waiting list, or was it this last year in Chicago that we signed up?
No, it was Cleveland when we first saw it. Remember, all they had was the display, and they had the little thing where you could scan it to sign up to be on the waiting list.
So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it's like 2.5 years
to get through the waiting list.
So, yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, to see where things have come, and then you have to kind of reevaluate and go, okay, well, this is where I'm at now. Where are things going, and what do I want to do to? Because it's always going to change. You can't just be like, well, this is what I do now, and then I'm going to do this for 20 years and I'm done. You have to, you have to make some adjustments to it. How we list cards, where we list cards, all that stuff has changed a lot in the last few years. And, yeah, so I don't know. I think there's a lot of excitement in cards. I see a lot of commercials. You see a lot of players getting into it now, and, lots of great sporting events coming up. We got the World Cup coming up this summer in the States. The Winter Olympics is in Cortana, I believe. Is that correct?
Italy, yeah.
Yeah, Italy. So, like I said, that starts later this week. I'm hoping that Topps Chrome does an Olympics product again. I really like the Summer Olympics one. Yeah, they were very affordable because the licensing's pretty cheap on that stuff. And I flipped stuff for pretty good money, and I just liked them. It was fun to have cards of swimmers and, triathletes and stuff. I like that kind of stuff. The weirder, the better for me.
The weirder, the better.
The weirder, the better. The weirder, the better it sells and the more money you can get. So that's been my experience anyway. I have the weird buyers, I guess. I don't know.
You do sell a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah. Picked up a couple packs of Pony today. Got some more Pony in my Target. So, huh?
The new ones?
Yeah. Okay. I think this is still the same set. Like, some of the cards look different than what I remember. Like, this is the Pony with the little snowmans. I'm like, well, maybe this is a new set or something too. I don't know.
So yeah, they were going to have different series coming out this year.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't say anything on it, so I can't tell if it's like series 2. Oh, it is 2.
Yeah.
Because it has like all that seriously long like letters and numbers for the card number on it. But they always said like 01 and then it was like L1 or SR1. Yep. These say 02. So this must be the new set.
Yep, that sounds right. And it looked like it was Christmas themed.
Yeah, this one has like winter.
Yep.
But they don't all look like that. Some of them look, like just regular ponies too. And they have the lenticulars and they have, these are all like the laser ones and stuff. So most of the card designs are pretty much the same, and they have the playing card ones still. So they're expanding on that. But yeah, great cards. At 50 cents a card retail, it's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
And they're all shiny and everything, and they don't sell like super, super fast, but they do sell.
Yeah, they're nice. I like them.
I also bought 2 boxes this past weekend of Kakawao Disney Festivals cards. I think I sent you a picture of the boxes. $20 a box. I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah. Where did you find those?
Local card shop.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm finding some non-sport deals to kind of get in on too. I think Naruto has another set coming out from Kaio too, so I'll have to watch Target for those as well. But $3.99 for a pack of 8 cards.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. You won't get that in a sports card pack.
No, you really won't, will you?
No. So what have you been picking up? Have you been picking up anything? You're just trying to sell, or?
I haven't really been picking up a lot. The other day, just on a whim, I was in Target and I picked up 2025 Panini Combat Anthology, just because it was a combination of boxing, MMA, and wrestling all in one set.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. So I picked it up more or less just to check it out. Because there's like Tyson's in there and major wrestling cards and a lot of the typical Panini parallels. It was a decent box. I think it was, I don't remember. I want to say it was 24 cards and it was $24.99. So I mean, with taxes and stuff, you're like a $1.02 a card, something like that.
Sure.
And I got an auto out of 10. And I got like 3 other parallels out of, I think one was 125, 275, and something else. So they were decent cards. Now, the problem is with those particular channels, they're really subject to cycles, like what's going on with those people, right? Like I got a lot of current competitors, but they need to be like challenging for a title or something to really have much of a market right now. So, and that's like my auto out of 10, a gold auto out of 10, you get kind of excited about that. But it was a guy who's in one of the lower leagues now. He left UFC last year and he's in like PFL or something like that. So that caps the market a little bit. So that's a little disappointing, but really nice cards. I didn't get a Tyson. That's what I really would have loved to get out of there. But for Panini, that price point isn't too bad either.
No.
Most of their stuff is $30 or more now.
Yeah, if you can even get it for that. Yeah. I did see a box of Grateful Dead Upper Deck cards today.
Yeah.
So I thought about, but it's like $54 for those, and you get one pack with 24 cards in it is what you get.
Sure.
I'm like, I don't know. And I don't know that much about Grateful Dead, and I don't know how big a market they'd have in cards, but
yeah,
thought it was interesting anyway.
I guess the other pickup I had, if you're in the Discord, you would have seen it, but I did have a Whatnot buy. I was browsing some streams one day and I saw somebody lotting up one touches, and I'm like, okay, that might be worth a watch. So there was a late Kobe in there, and 4 of those Kakawao collection posters. Then a bunch of other cards that were a little more minor, but price was okay on it. I mean, I'll be able to make a profit on it, I believe. So I'm very selective with the Whatnot buys, just because it's not, I think we both agree, it's not ideal for what we do. But if you can find the right stream, there's sometimes some profit to be made.
Yeah, I'm spending more time on Marketplace. I'm finding more deals on there. And I think there is good opportunity on there. Plus you can pick them up in person, which if you're buying quantity, that's nice because it costs so much to ship.
Yeah.
Plus it kind of allows you to go through it a bit, make sure you're getting what you're supposed to be getting, because there's really no recourse on a Marketplace sale.
Right.
You know, you can kind of look at it and go, okay, well, here's your $50, or, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's some interesting cards coming out. We saw the flip of Topps into basketball, in full bore mode now, and it's been very good for basketball cards. They're selling better now. You have the Sapphire boxes are like $5,000 or something stupid.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm not going to touch anything like that, but good rookie class. People seem to be enjoying the season. There's some fresh, talent in there, and of course, you got LeBron coming to the end. Bronny James is actually playing well. I can't believe that. But you got the two of them, playing together now, and I don't know. So it feels like things have the bad things that were kind of there are kind of turning that corner. And it makes me super, super psyched for football cards next year, because we're going to finally get our Topps licensed football, and that should give a boost there too. Topps Chrome and Topps Finest and like all these amazing products that used to make football will be back as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you've been waiting for that for a while. You've been talking about that ever since the news broke that they were getting the license back. You've been salivating, waiting for that football offering.
Yeah, I mean, Panini makes crap, so Topps is going to do a much better job quality-wise, photo-wise. I think the price points will be a little bit better, although Topps has gone up. But to be expected, because a product like Composite, which we really enjoyed last year, which was a lot less expensive, is going to be less expensive than one that has the license attached to it.
Yeah.
And there's less demand and all that kind of stuff. But just what I've seen them put out in the unlicensed football, I've really enjoyed. I love Resurgence. I like the Composite products were really nice, with Topps Gallery, and an Allen and Ginter football set would be amazing, right?
That would be kind of
so I think there's a lot to have go right on that path. So we'll see. And just Topps Chrome being back, Topps Chrome, Topps Finest. Those were all the products that I bought when I started collecting. Those were the Topps Stadium Club football being back would be amazing.
Right.
So yeah, I'm super pumped for next year's football. Hopefully we get a good rookie class, because that definitely, matters. As far as it boosting the hobby and there being interest in the products. And because I could care less if the box prices get to $5,000, because I'm not buying that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And the breakers will still buy it, and people will still buy spots. Like, it'll still happen. It doesn't matter. Obviously, because if that's what the market dictates for the price, that's the price. But it'll be good to see like licensed Topps football singles in dollar boxes when we start digging, as those products come out. Now, Topps Chrome basketball, they made a crap ton of that.
Yeah.
A literal crap ton.
And I don't get any of it.
I won't either. I'll buy some in our discount boxes and stuff, for certain players. But I did buy a couple boxes of that Black Friday Topps Chrome basketball from Target when it came out on Black Friday, and I did really, really well, because that's the only place you could get like the Chrome Black parallels, and I pulled a Cooper Flag and a Knuppel or however you pronounce his name. I pulled one of each of those guys, and they're like the top, rookies this year, and a couple of inserts of rookie inserts of Flag and Khan as well. So I felt, pretty satisfied with. I made money on them, so
sure.
But yeah, I think the card industry is going to be heading in the right direction, and I'm excited to go along for the ride. So hopefully we'll continue to be able to enjoy that, and we'll keep you guys informing you guys what we're doing, what we're changing, what we're adding, how to work CDP, how to the tech questions keep coming. We do not work for Card Dealer Pro, by the way, or Collects, whatever. But we kind of do, because there can be frustration, obviously, reaching out to customer service departments and stuff. And so if we can throw our 2 cents in there and it works, have at it. So Who did I just help this week with something tech? And I was like, oh, I got to point that out to Charlie because that was a good one. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if you saw it in the Discord.
It was about something about inventory, I think.
Inventory manager or something. Yeah, I don't know. But it was a good one. I'm like, oh, you have to do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, yes, look at me go.
Oh, it was the images, I think. Well, I don't know if you helped them or somebody else did, but someone had a problem with the images turning on them too.
Yeah, that wasn't me. I know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. There was another one though. I don't know. Now I'm drawing a blank on it. Maybe it'll come to me later. But yeah, so soccer's really interesting right now. Man City and Arsenal are going to be playing in the, what do they call it, the Bra Cup or whatever. They both made it to the final, so that'll be interesting. Me and my buddy's team, he's an Arsenal and I'm a Manchester City, so we're fighting for some bragging rights on this one. So I'm excited about that. And World Cup coming this summer. It's gonna be good stuff.
You're looking forward to that?
Yeah, big time. Well, and I'm going to that push-off match. I get to see Team USA versus Germany.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so pretty psyched for that. And that's like the week before the World Cup kicks off, so it'll be pretty cool.
You want to pull up some chat for a little bit? I'm going to step away for a second, grab a soda. And then if you want to start on some chat.
Oh, hey, grab me one.
Sure, I'll do that.
All right, I can start in the chat. All right. All right. A long ball 2.0 long ball is here. He says, yo, 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 yo to you as well. Using my call sign. I don't know. Bill is here. He says, what's up? We don't have Charlie for that one, so maybe we'll have to hit him up with a what's up when he gets back. Yep, Charlie is in a black screen, Bill said. So it wasn't just me looking at it. He is back. He does have video now, so that's good. Designated Heckler said, is Charlie frozen like a Florida iguana? So we went on a whole tangent on the Florida iguana problem.
I don't know what made it freeze, but I know that I have a major issue with my laptop camera. So I went through this a couple weeks ago trying to dig into some details. So I have an onboard camera on this laptop and it has no settings. So what I'm finding is it is really having trouble finding the right focal point of brightness, because typically it's going to focus on the brightest object, but it's struggling with that. So I am going to have to get an external camera, which I was going to anyway, because pretty soon I'm going to upgrade to a large, oversized curved screen monitor. So I was going to have to get one anyway. So that should hopefully help some of those issues. But I was hoping to get the monitor first and then the camera, but it looks like I'm going to need to get the camera first and just start using it with the laptop.
Yeah, that happened with my last laptop too. I could never get the camera. The camera was just junk on it. And
well, and like when I stepped away, you saw it was all bright behind me. I'm in a bright room right now, and you can't even tell.
No, I am, but you can tell.
Yeah, if I switched to my phone, it would be totally different for sure.
Yeah, I just do the show on my phone. It's a lot easier. Let's see, where are we? I just skipped to the bottom of the chat. Oops. Here we go. Not sure is here, but Sean Shreds told me how to do that on the Discord via DM.
I think that was the shipping rates.
Yeah, I think so too. He said, I'll try to send it to you later. Thanks, Joe. I will go check that out. I am terrible at checking my DMs on the Discord. I've talked about this in the past, so I appreciate you giving me a heads up. Otherwise, it might sit there for a while, and I'll have no clue it's there. Adam, does your average price per card take into account the discount? Yes, it does. So that's my average sale per card, like price per card. Yeah. Because I sell lots of cards over $100, $200. I have a lot of PSA graded stuff that I sell and some more rare inserts and things like that. Shouldn't say a lot, but regularly I'll have a sale or two of those, and then that brings up the average for sure before
And
the discount.
that's a good point we should talk about for a second, Adam.
Mhm.
We are primarily low end sellers, but I think one of the goals you want to have is to have different shelves in your store, right?
Mhm.
Like you have the $1.99 shelf, you've got the $10 shelf, you've got the $100 shelf, and you've maybe got a couple things on $1,000 shelf, right?
I have a
Um,
$25,000 card listed. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of we actually operate in more of a a pyramid shape. Um, and Adam, you've been doing this longer than me. You certainly have a bigger selection of higher end items out there.
Mhm.
So while the focus we talk about all the time is the low end stuff, you do want to diversify your listings to have some of those bigger items to get that, if nothing else, they get some traffic in. Like I've
Mhm.
got, well, of course you can't see it behind me, but I've got a couple cards behind me that are hundreds or thousands of dollars. And you know, even if I don't sell them at those prices, they're getting hundreds and hundreds of views into my store. There goes my light again.
Aye, aye, aye.
It's just
Yeah,
great.
I don't want to give the wrong impression. I don't just sell $1.99 cards. I still feel like that is the least risky like business model for cards because you should be getting those pretty darn cheap or free. I mean, I sell a lot of cards that I get for free. Like, I mean, you can't beat the margins on something like that. So, but yeah, there's definitely places for all different kinds of price cards.
Yeah,
Um, and you should have some diversification in your store for different items and, do some non-sport, do some, whatever. I've seen some of the stores now in our Discord, sellers in our Discord that are like doing memorabilia too. Like that's something that they got into. That's nothing I want to do, but that's not a bad idea. I mean, sports
yeah,
cards and memorabilia, they make sense, of course. So yeah, you gotta find your niche, right? So like
Mhm.
a big thing for me is the Farv cards. I sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them
Right.
every week. All kinds of base cards, and it doesn't matter what it is. I just have all these Farv buyers come and buy stuff from me.
Hmm.
And I mean, I can pay pretty much all my expenses just off of selling Farv cards, which
Sure.
I either bought them a long time ago or both. I have very little money into them because I was buying like $5,000, $10,000 lots at a time. And I have, 4 or 5 row boxes pretty much full. I've taken some cards out and listed them, but still the list. So I can sustain that part of the business just by what I currently have. I don't even have to buy anything. Um, whereas like the $100 to $200 cards, you kind of have to replenish them a little bit, as they
Yeah.
sell because you're not going to have as many. You have to be a little bit more careful with cards in those prices too, because if they're only that price right now because they're the hot thing, they're Sam Darnold right now, great,
Right.
until he loses the Super Bowl and then phew, plunk. Not only do they go way down, you don't have buyers for them anymore. Now
Yeah.
you got $100 stuck into a card that you're gonna have a really hard time turning something on. Versus my Sam Darnolds I bought for $1.99, I'll still be able to sell those for
Yeah.
$1.99.
Because you always got to, whenever you pick up a card, you got to be thinking about the exit as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, you make your money when you buy. So don't buy that card if you don't have, any way to either A, get out of it quickly while it's hot, or B, have enough margin in it that regardless of what happens, you can still, turn
Yeah.
it back out. Worst case scenario, break even, but you don't want to do that
Correct.
on too many cards either. You'd be working a lot to make no money, and that's not the best option, of course. So yeah, diversify that thing. There's a lot of times where I go to shows and I just spend my time in a dollar box. There's a lot of times
Yeah.
I go to a show. There's certain dealers that I like that sell dime cards that have really good value in them. If I can get Derek Jeter base cards for a dime, that's worth it. because that's I sell a ton of Derek Jeter stuff. It's a big product of mine, and I can turn those for easy money. What Derek Jeter card you pay a dime for are you going to lose money on? So, and there's just certain players like that too, that, and then there's other, sports and other players where I don't find a lot of cards of them. We live in a professional football city, so I can find all kinds of football cards. Soccer cards, not so much. So,
right.
I tend to buy more football and sell more football because that's what I easily have access to and has good margins in it for me right off the bat, versus soccer, I got to run it down a little bit.
Yeah, if I think of like a percentage of soccer cards we see at them, it's probably less than 3% that we see at card shows is soccer.
Yeah. And I mean, you can say the same for like UFC, and WWE is a little bit more, but not a ton. We don't see a ton of it. And by the way, I did sell a ton of that 1985 Topps WWF stuff that I got.
Yeah,
sold almost all the Hulks. It was really cool because I had a buyer buy 9 cards from that set. It's like if you would have bought one more, you could have got half price. But it's amazing how many people won't use. Yeah, so many people don't use the coupon. It's crazy. But yeah, stuff like that. I will drive a couple hours, to pick up boxes that have that kind of stuff in it because we just don't see it, where we are. So, and it's funny because I made that, I did do a video of like that non-sport buy that I made, right? Those two, a 5-row and a 4-row box. And I didn't get like super responses from it, A lot of people were like, "Oh, it was okay, bye." And I'm like, and I'm selling the crap out of just about everything that I'm listing out of that.
Yeah.
And so what that just told me was like, wow, there's a lot of people that just don't understand the non-sport, or aren't interested in it or don't think there's money in it, whatever the case may be. But I sold a bunch of the dinosaurs show. Remember Not the Mama? And there was a little stack of those in one of those boxes. I listed them all. That's one buyer bought all of them.
Really?
Yeah. I could list, 10 star football players from this year, 10 or 20 cards of those, and I'm not going to sell all 20 to one buyer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. There's just more, and you don't see that stuff very often. There's some A-Team, B.A. Barabbas stuff in there, Mr. T cards. There was some E.T., lots of title cards, tons of stickers. Here's a bunch of Batman stickers that were in there. That stuff always does well. Like, you got to look past it's not a quarterback or a Panini card, I don't want to buy it. Like, you got to start looking out a little bit more to other things that have opportunity too, and know what's rare. You can buy a box of, I got a whole box of, I got an entire box of, I think it's this one. Yeah. Well, there's a couple of FARs in here too, but this is an entire box of Tom Brady cards, a 2-row box. Mm-hmm. That's not hard to find. Right? Those aren't rare cards. No, there's obviously demand for Tom Brady, which is why I bought them, but you're not going to find a 2-row box of A-Team cards, so you find a little chunk of them here, or a little chunk of them there, or one beat up card. Yeah. So you have to think about that stuff too. Like, that matters. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. What do we got next? Dang. What does he say? Dang. Adam has an employee. He's going to live selling. He's buying $7,000 cards. Charlie has a thermal printer. Cats and dogs are living together. It's mass hysteria. Yeah, I mean, not quite that emphatic as you're pointing it out here. It's a little bit slower run than that, but yeah, we're making moves and we're doing some good things, and we're excited about it. Charlie's he's at that mid experience point now in eBay, and he's reevaluating some expenses versus some margins versus time management versus all those things.
And I should probably take a minute and talk about that, because I think there's some misconceptions as I've talked about that I'm no longer selling a $1.99 card, right? And that's not at all the case. I already have the base of my pyramid. Why do I keep saying period tonight?
I don't
Because I'm
know.
very emphatic about it. I'm putting a
There you
period
go.
on it.
That's
My
it.
pyramid
Period.
is already got a base of $1.99 cards. Like, what I'm doing right now is I feel like, okay, I've got that base. I need to work on average order value, and I need to work on some of my systems yet before I open the floodgates like Adam does. Because Adam mentions this all the time. If you're going to be selling 100 to 300 cards a day, you sure as heck better be able to handle it, or it's not going to last.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really important to get all your systems down pat and exactly the way it's going to work for you. Get that average order value up there a little bit, because if all you're doing is selling $1.99 singles all day, your cost of labor is going to be way out of whack. So that's where I'm at right now as a middle seller. Is I'm just shifting my focus a little bit to boost that average order value, spend more time on fewer items with a higher value to kind of regulate that a little bit. But I'm still selling $1.99 cards every day because I already have them in my store. And there are high velocity cards that I'm still adding every day in that $1.99 tier as well, because I know that's a quick flip, right? So, but I just dialed in my focus a little more to say, hey, I'm not gonna list that that Charlie Moore Brewers card for $1.99 from 1983 just because, I remember him as a clubhouse favorite, being growing up a Brewers fan. I did that when I was first starting out and just trying to get inventory out there and really going through the learning phase of what sells and what doesn't. But now I've transitioned to that middle seller stage and I've got some of that knowledge. So I'm kind of fine. It's a fine tuning stage is how I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I sell a lot of $1.99 cards, but they're mostly big name players still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's, 1992 score Barry Sanders cards, super overprinted, nothing fancy, but it's Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Like, so that's, my $1.99 is still very marketable for the most part. Tons of Brett Favre cards. Well, Brett Favre sells like, wildfire. So, it's, yeah, we talk about that all the time. Like when we did hobby or no, right? And it's like, when I look at a card, I score it bonus points or I take a points away depending on the individual card itself.
Yeah.
Well, the player gets more points. Oh, it's Topps Gold Label, a higher end brand from the 90s that's very desirable. Okay, that gets these bonus points.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Cowboys player. Okay, that gets these bonus points. Oh, it's a free safety. Gonna lose a couple points. And so I think, yeah, once you get good at that, they don't look like $1.99 cards. They look like cards that are liquid, and they might just not be very valuable. Like that's two different things in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a point you're evaluating. I'm evaluating more my diversification mode. Like how can I get into more markets? Like I have all my stuff. Now I want to get to more eyes. And while you're looking at, okay, I want to spend less time shipping less cards, but more money, per card. I'm looking at my processes more of where I can cut time out. I don't want to stop selling the cards I'm selling, which do take more time to sell, to ship and pull and all that. So now I just scan everything. I don't spend as much time listing not even close to what I used to do. Mm-hmm. We have our own scanners now. So the scanner is available to me 24 hours a day. So I can just, before this show started, I scanned like 75 cards in, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. So if I sell 75 cards during the show, it's not that big a deal. I already listed that many. you know, and it didn't take me very long. So, I even told you, like, I don't even use the catch bin for the scanner anymore. I just pulled the tray out now and I let them flop into the tray and I just grab them off the tray.
Yeah.
Because I'm scanning like die cuts and all kinds of weird shaped stuff now. You know, as I've expanded my scanning process, and it's actually a lot easier to just let them land on the tray and pull them out than have them get in that bin and get all caught up. So, you know, yeah, you have to take little times as you're growing your business and focus in different little areas and try to tweak things and improve things, you know, as you go. So I think we're in good places, and I think we have good focuses, and everything we're doing is, you know, provided we do it well, is going to be a positive for our futures.
Yeah.
And that's where the Discord comes in to be very important. Which, by the way, the link is coming across the bottom right now under Charlie there. Join, please. It's free, and you'll have a lot of good conversation on there. But that's what I like about in there. You know, I learn a lot of things, like, you know, the car dealer pro pricing, which I never looked into, and then I was like, what the heck are they doing? Like, their pricing's all wrong. But good for us, right? It's an advantage for us. So I switched to that. You know, I started looking at you know, looking at more of the tips on Whatnot and how to do a successful show, and looking at some of the people on our Discord and the things that they're doing, and that, you know, taking my pieces I need out of that to be successful. And
Right.
and that's the great part about it. It's very positive, and we talk a lot about our experiences or why we do what we do, and share our successes and our frustrations, and ask for tech help. And, you know, hey guys, look for this product. Somebody had put like a basic tops or scorecard of a Seattle Seahawks player in the Discord. And it was like, hey, this dude's got like no rookie cards. This is the only one out there, and it doesn't even say rookie on it, which is very weird for football because it's very obvious who's a rookie and who isn't. It's a draft class, right? And he's like, yeah, they're selling for like $8 or $10, and you should be able to find these in Diamond Quarterbacks. I'm like, that's awesome, because I wouldn't have known that. So I like it when that stuff pops up, because it helps all of us. You don't have to give all your secrets away. I don't give all my secrets away. But it's good to have a community to work in. I think that's super important. Makes it a lot more fun. It keeps it more engaging, and then we can all be more successful. We're all competing to some degree, but we don't really have to. There's enough buyers for the few like crazy ones of us that are actually doing this, that think this is a good way to spend your free time. It is actual work, and it's not going to multiply. We always know that there's going to be a bunch of people that start out doing it and then they fall away from it, because it's not a get rich quick scheme,
Right.
the way we do it anyway, if you do it correctly. And it takes a long time to build on it and make some real money, and I just want to quit my job. Well, that's not the right motivation to start a business. You have to want to be successful in the business itself, not. But anyway, yeah, so it's good to hear the different strategies, the different plans. And, you know, I like it when new people come in, you know, just like the whole reason we started the show. We had a new person and a veteran person, and I like when new people come in and they're like, well, why do you do this? Or why is, and it's like, I don't know. We've just done it for like 10 years. So that's why we do it that way, you know? And I think it's easier to miss the new stuff that comes up when you've been doing it for a long time, because you're just like, well, I already know all the stuff. You know, I know how to ship, how to do this. And sometimes you just need that new approach as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Eddie says, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know what that's in regards to, but
I think that was in response to some comments about live selling. We were in that discussion.
yeah, and he follows it up with, we need more Whatnot sellers, too high demand, not enough supply of sellers. Well, that sounds good, because that's where I'm heading. So plan to be a part of that. It's reached its peak. It's all going down. I don't know what that means. Like, number of sell. I thought you just said there's more demand and we need more sellers. So what do you mean by it's all going down? Oh, like sellers are leaving? Is that what it is?
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure. Would you refer to yourselves as resellers?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because we buy stuff to sell it again. I mean, that's kind of the nature of retail, really. I mean, Walmart's a reseller. They buy they buy stuff from, manufacturers and distributors and things like that, and then they sell it in their stores. Like that's yeah, we're definitely doing that. Tops winter is out already. Is that are they referring to football?
That
Because there's no license in football yet. Oh.
basketball.
Olympics. I think it must be this Olympics blaster. So Topps Winter Olympics blaster is what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Saw him at Target today. Dang it! I went to Target today. I did not see them. So I'll have to keep an eye out. Tops needs curling cards.
That would be cool. I
Put them on
saw
the shelf next to pickleball cards.
I saw one of the Olympic competitors for curling is the oldest competitor at 54, I think. He's on the curling
Nice.
team.
I like it.
Are you retiring? No, I'm an Olympian.
No, I throw a rock and I drink beer. Like what else? What's better than that? What are you going to do in retirement? Curl? Like you're already doing it. Eddie says, serious question. I want to open a box with my dad like we used to in the 90s. Need a recommendation looking to spend like 150. Yeah. Baseball only, Topps, Bowman. I mean, those are all great options. You should be able to find a box of something for 150. Retail, especially for that. You could buy a couple blaster boxes if you want to go a little cheaper and have a few different boxes to rip. The holiday products are always a good one. Those are a little less expensive and kind of fun with different parallels. I really like Big League, and I don't know if they're going to come out with that anymore. I thought this was like the last year they weren't going to make it anymore. I was like, what? Big League is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great product, really fun. Not very expensive, cool cards out of it. They do sell, there's comic style cards and stuff. But yeah, baseball, I mean, most people what they rip is Topps Series 1, Topps flagship. And then you've got your Bowman and your Bowman Chrome. I think those are like the two big ones.
Yeah,
like
I think
prospecting
it depends
wise.
What excites you the most? Do you enjoy finding those speculative cards? Then you're probably going to want Bowman, Bowman prospects. See if you can get that first Bowman of the next big thing, right? And some of those auto cards. But if you're more traditional, I would go with the flagship. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, because the flagship's going to give you more like current players, veterans, and that kind of thing too.
Another good baseball offering for nostalgia, since you're ripping, you want to do it with your dad and kind of reminiscing about the 90s, is Allen and Ginter. That's kind of a fun set that leans into history and nostalgia. It's not a big investment set, but the fun factor is there.
Yeah, or something like let's see, Allen and Ginter Topps Heritage. That has like kind of the old designs to it.
Old designs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of products out there.
Is it Heritage that has all the hidden parallels too, like the color swaps and
variations and stuff.
All those variations, yeah.
So yeah,
it can kind of be a game of trying to find all those too.
Right. Ways to spend hours of your time for sure. Max says always be buying, Charlie. So Max bought 1 million cards this past weekend. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Good for you. That'll be fun to sort through. I mean, we'll see you in like 2 months.
Yeah. Did you have to get a second, or I don't even know how many storage units you have, Max? Did you need another one for that? 1 million cards?
Yeah, because that's I mean, they take up less space than sports cards. They're Pokemon.
I get it. Yeah.
But it's still a good chunk of space for anything. If you have 1 million grains of rice, it still takes up a significant amount of space.
Does that math work? I don't know.
It does. I mean, if you think about rice, you think about like the little pile on your plate, right? That's not anywhere near 1,000,000 pieces of rice.
Is it hydrated or dehydrated yet?
Well, it doesn't matter. Well, let's say dehydrated, so it's not puffy yet. Joe says the best card he hit out of the anthology was a Butterbean out of 50.
Yep.
It seems like a
Yep,
good card,
Butterbean's
right?
popular out of there.
Yeah, I know who he is.
What
What?
the gold fireworks is what I hit, and it is really a nice design. Like it really pops. I just wish it would have been a better fighter.
Sure. Good evening, fellas. Good evening to you as well. NA Kelly Collectibles.
You didn't say the G word.
Yeah, no, he didn't. That's good. Jeff says I always have an uptick in sales for the Olympics, so I'm getting more orders coming in lately. I also just recently had soccer sales spike with World Cup approaching. The soccer is also in another cup right now that's pretty popular. It's mostly Premier League teams and stuff, so you might be seeing a bump from that as well. I've seen an increase in soccer sales also. Yeah, the Olympics stuff was really fun for the summer products. I'm super excited about that. It only comes every 4 years. They don't print a ton of it. They're almost all rookie cards, right? Because your triathletes don't have a lot of cards out there. Maybe an Allen and Ginter card or something like that. But and then if the athlete does well, like let's say you get, the US curling team and they, shock the world and they win gold medal, like, dude, you get some bump from some of that too. So it's a lot of fun. We're more dominant in winter. Wait, maybe I'm getting this wrong. I think Team USA is more dominant in medals in Winter Olympics than we are summer, correct?
I think so.
I believe we win more medals in the winter. So, Team USA doing well generally gives it a bump too. A snowboarder cards and heck yeah, it's good stuff. I'm excited. Now I just got to find the cards. That might be the other challenge. Are there any event sports that influence your guys' sales greatly? Yeah, pretty much every season for every sport. I think I probably see the effect more in baseball than I do anything else.
Yeah.
I
immediately thought about the baseball playoffs and the World Series. Like this last playoffs was a boom period for me selling Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they died off shortly after they lost.
They do. Yeah, I saw a lot of Vlad Guerrero Jr. stuff and but baseball is interesting because it probably has the best market too for before the season starts.
Yeah.
There seems to be more.
Yep.
Yeah, spring training gets everybody juiced.
Babe Ruth or whoever in spring training.
So if you think about it, baseball has more attached to it than just the sport. First of all, it's like our oldest game, right? It's the national pastime. There's all that part of it. It is really what made cards what they are, right? Baseball cards were the thing that grew this hobby. But I think even more than that, a lot of it is just like psychological, right? So, baseball starting, it's almost summer and summer vacation. And there's just like a feel good portion in most people's lives at that time of the year where you're just kind of getting excited for, I can be outside because when the baseball players are outside, I can be outside, and I think that just makes people happy. And then they buy cards and they get into baseball and then their team sucks like 3 weeks in and then they just don't want to do anything with any of it, and then the playoffs hit and you get there's always a few surprising teams in the playoffs and, those guys sell and then there's call-ups, right? Because you get call-ups just for the playoffs. So some of those young guys start popping, and then you have, of course, the teams that always win, the Dodgers, the Yankees, all them. Those continue to sell, and I don't know. I feel like baseball is just a little bit more. To answer your question, I think that it's a little bit more influential in the sales than the other sports.
But you also see that in the other sports. Maybe not to the
Absolutely.
same extent, but like I always see it in basketball too. Guys
Mhm.
that are on a hot streak in the playoffs in basketball start flying out, and then season ends and they disappear.
But you can always get like water skiing squirrel cards, and they sell anytime. There's no season
True.
for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, well, when the interest rate market is down, the bonds are up, and and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like that, where if baseball's up, basketball's probably down right now. But there are things that kind of level that out too, that don't really have that seasonal type effect as much. Non-sport is a great use for that. That's your more steady investment, if you will. No real timeline other than, well, there's a new movie coming out of this character, or those will obviously will move the line a little bit, but for the most part, it has a little bit more steady performance.
Yeah.
Batman doesn't break an ankle. Eddie says flexing. I don't do that. I hope you didn't take it that way. I very rarely ever share any of my numbers for several different reasons, but that's one of them. I just wanted to give some context for, like, okay, this is what it looks like when you sell a lot of $1.99 cards and you get to this number. That's what that means. That's how daunting that can be, as far as just filling orders and keeping it going. Um, but there's money in it. Like, you can make the money if you're going to put the time and the work into it. So that's the only reason that I mentioned any of that. All right, the non-sport video was fantastic. Probably too long for many folks. That could be true too. What's funny about that is if I make a shorter video like, "Oh, you guys don't watch any of this," I'll skip over that. I'll get comments like, "Just record all of it. I play it all in the background. I want to see all of it." People who want to watch that section, they'll skip it. So that's kind of funny. But wow, huge education you passed along to anyone patient enough to watch it. Non-sports is my biggest weakness, so it was great. Well, I'm glad that it helped you. Um, and honestly, that's the biggest reason I would make a video like that. I thought it was really fun too because I didn't really know what was in it. Um, and I talk a lot about, like, make sure when you go through the boxes, you work the margins out in your head and blah blah blah. And on a normal buying situation, that's what you'd want to do based on quantity and a few pictures. And I already knew there was a few cards where I would get a half of my money back just selling a couple of cards. It was a no-brainer, but it still doesn't mean that I knew what was in it and what the margins, would truly be. And there was better stuff in there than I thought. The Tony Hawk rookie card blew my mind. I don't know why the
Yeah.
hell that would be in there. Two Hulk Hogan rookies. Like, there was just, and then in that 1985 set, Hulk's on like 15 different cards. So, because he's on there, like on the one with Mean Gene, and then he's on the one with, like, the Animal. Was that a wrestler?
Animal and Hawk from Road
Animal.
Warrior.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know who these dudes are or whatever. I know who Terry is. So when I see Terry on a card, I know I can do something with it. And his stuff's still a little hot yet because of him just recently passing, and so there were angles to it where I was like, oh, I know I can make money on this. And I had like two other pictures of some other stuff too where I'm like, okay, that stuff's pretty solid. I bet I'll be fine. I didn't expect to find all like the foil Power Ranger stuff and a lot of the sticker cards, and then Sports Illustrated for kids cards. What are those even doing in there? They're not non-sport. But a Tony Hawk, that's $150 card, that Tony Hawk rookie. It's in perfect shape. So um that one's kind of slid off now into like my PC. We'll see how long I decide that I got to keep that. But Tony Hawk was an icon for me growing up, and it's a card I've always wanted. Um, so I kind of feel like, man, I didn't really pay anything for this thing. This is the one I should probably hang on to. Um, but anyway, yeah. So that's why I made the video. I thought it would be fun to kind of. I think like, if you buy a box of baseball commons, you kind of know what you're going to see in it, right?
Yeah.
You buy a box of non-sport cards, like, you're like, what's even in that? Like, what could it possibly be? You know what I mean? If you don't do it, you just really don't know what it's going to look like. Um, I mean, I found Bigfoot monster truck cards in there. Those do really well. The 90s Bigfoot stuff. Like, It's all over the place. There's Star Trek, there's Star Wars, there's Batman, there's, Marvel, I found a from that 1991 Impel early Marvel set, the Stan Lee card where it's like his face, but it's different characters that are like drawn onto his face. I don't know if you know that card. But there was one of those in there. I'm like, how would you put this in this? So it was just somebody was like casually collecting non-sport cards, and all the cards just ended in the box, whether they were good cards or not. The shipping box was to this person that I bought them from, and they were shipped to him in 2002.
Oh.
So they'd been sitting there for 23 years. And he's like, yeah, I kind of went through them, and like I'd pulled the Hulk rookies out, and and that's why he took pictures of those. But he's like, I didn't really like look into any of these other ones. I really just wanted the Hulk cards out of it. And I'm like, well, clearly, because you would pull a Tony Hawk rookie out of a box. But yeah, that's the kind of opportunity you can have with non-sport. There's good stuff in there, and there's money. A lot of those cards are going to be $1.99, but when you have 10,000 cards and you sell them at $1.99 and you clear $1 a piece on them, that's still $10,000. Now it's going to take you like 5 years to do that, but so that alone isn't going to run a business for you. But you add that piece into $1.99 solid sports selling cards and $4.99 level cards in your store and some couple $100 cards. Like you have enough of those price points and you're in enough markets, you get the sale. You pile them all together, you add them all up, and there you go.
Yeah.
It's funny. Sometimes I'll look at my bank account, my business bank account, and I'll have like 9 deposits in one day because I get paid from each eBay store, and then something from YouTube, and then maybe some affiliate money from Amazon, and then you got a sale on whatnot. And it's about having those multiple streams of income, and you can look at it the same way within your own store, right? So you have this stream of income that comes from your $200 cards, and then you have this stream of income that comes from your $20 cards, and the more of those types of levels that you can cover, the more you can increase those deposits.
Sure.
Which I think is a goal for all of us, right? I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
No.
I think that's a huge flaw of most sellers. It doesn't matter what you like at all. It only matters what your buyers want. Yeah. Yeah, and I talk about that all the time. I'm like, well, I don't watch sports. And people are like, but you sell sports cards. I'm like, that's why it's perfect. Because
no
I don't get caught up. I know just enough to know like what's going to sell, and I don't get caught up in any of it. Which is funny because I just talked about Tony Hawk, and I want to keep that card. Everyone's going to have exceptions from time to time. Certain cards that I think it's also nice to enjoy cards and have a couple cards in your PC. Even if you're not a big collector, because if you have zero passion for this hobby, I don't know that makes a great seller either. Because you have to want to do this. It is work. So, and you know that better than anybody, Max. You work harder than anyone I know. Charlie's pyramid scheme is starting to take shape. I like the pyramid scheme. That's what it made me think of when you said, "Oh, it's a period." Yeah, well, you did say period.
I did.
But then you said, "Yeah, it's a pyramid," and I'm like, "You can't say that. People don't like the word pyramid when you're talking about sales and money." Thinking hockey, Charlie. Maybe that's why you're saying period. There you go.
It could be. I think what it really is I was in a conversation at work today where we were emphasizing something, and that word came up, and I think it stuck with me.
The finality of it all, period.
Yes.
Something like that. Let's see, this is a long one here. I picked up a complete Topps baseball sets of 06, 07, 08, 09 at Goodwill for $9.99 each and listed every card. I'm surprised at the random guys I never heard of that are selling. Those are awesome years to buy sets of because they weren't printed very much. People weren't collecting a lot in the mid 2000s. I talk about that all the time. 2002, 2003. Those are some of my best selling years because they just didn't print very many cards. And I kind of agree with you, Bill. I people tell me that all the time. Like, why would you even list that card? A lot of times that's the card that sells first. If you're the one who's going to take the chance and list the weird cards, you're going to get a lot of weird card sales. And that's what I call a player that you wouldn't think sells. That to me I call it a weird card. So no, I don't think you want to fill your store with that.
Yeah.
But you got 60,000 listings to go. You put a couple hundred listings out there of from good sets, right? There's tops buyers. There's plenty of tops only collectors and stuff. And you list cards of players of years that were less printed. Yeah, I can see you having some success rate with that. You can always pull listings down later if you have a bunch that don't sell. That's an option too. We don't really talk about that, but that is something you can do if you go, hey, I've had these sets listed out there for, whatever your expiration date is, 6 months now, and these are a bunch of cards that didn't sell. I'm going to pull them down. You can do that.
See, and that's where I'm operating a little different now. I look at that and I say, okay, you bought 4 complete sets. It's probably 350 or 60 cards in each set. So you got
no, it's like 700 cards a set.
Okay, 700. So you got what, 2,800 to 3,000 cards there.
Yep.
And you listed them all, and your random guys that you never heard of are selling. So how many is that? Maybe 10 or 15 of those went and kind of surprised you so far. Is that truly going to be sustainable? And then you're going to have 2,700 cards sitting there 3 years later. And yes, you can pull them and lot them out or do whatever you want, but you're adding more labor down the road. Now, granted, you don't know which ones it's going to be.
Right.
But that's where I've kind of changed this year is I'm not taking that probability anymore of saying it's a good chance I'll probably end up pulling these out in a couple of years when they don't sell, and I'm just lotting them out right away.
Yeah, but to that end, I'm going to show you this picture because this happens to be a great example of it. So these are now granted, these are all-star sets, right? So shorter printed, but I would argue that 06, 07, 08, and 09 were shorter printed too, just by the nature of hobby at the time. This is one set. I bought 6 sets of these. This is one set, and this is all I have left in the set. So I've sold over half the cards in this set. These are from last year, so about a year old, right? And I'd say there's like half the cards in there. Now, a lot of them are like common name players, right? Because it's 700. How many cards is 700 cards? But they're not all going to be $1.99. You have your Otanis, you have your Judges, you have your bonus cards they give you in here too. So I made all my money back within a day or two of listing these. So any of these other cards that are listed in there have no cost if you want to look at it that way. But if it's a 700 card set, I sold 350 cards. Let's say I hit my average card price of $358, right? Just for argument's sake, per card. It's a pretty darn good return. $1,200 on a $60 set. So, and I had a pretty good size order. I should share my screen, but I had a pretty good size order like 2 days ago. Because remember, we're starting to get towards baseball prospecting season, right? For buying. I had like a 20 card order out of here, and it was all guys I've never heard of before, or very rarely heard of.
Are those the foil All-Star Game ones?
Yes, these are the All-Star Game ones.
Yes. Little logo.
Yeah, they have the. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
They have the ASG all over them. So I clarified that before I made the statement. I said, yes, these are the ASG sets, so they're shorter printed. But again, in 06, 07, 08, and 09, cards weren't that heavily printed either. Mm-hmm. So probably similar numbers, maybe even less than what was printed with these. Now, in those 06, 07, 08, and 09 sets, you're going to have Derek Jeters and Ken Griffey Jr.'s, and those are all going to sell for better than average money. He's going to make his $10 back easy, per set.
Oh, no, yeah, that's
So
not, I don't question that. What
yeah,
I'm saying is you're also going to be sitting on thousands of cards in your inventory long term.
yeah. So what? If you're
It's space and more investment to figure out a storage system for all that. Like, at what point are you going to go buy another cabinet? You know,
when I need one. So
exactly.
my argument to that is if you're allowed 60,000 listings in the store, use them. You're not making less money if you list something, you know. Now, if you're close to your 60,000 listings, if you're at the level like you're at now, where you're reevaluating that and you're going, okay, I got a lot of stuff listed now, and space is becoming more of a concern, if you will, or I want to be more careful with what I list because I don't have all these huge numbers of listings available.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That is I get that. Or you're trying to go for a higher average price point of card.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. But I've listed plenty of cards like this, and we joke about it all the time. Oh, you saw all these weird cards. I do. They sell. So
That's not a great example though, because that's not just your base common, right? We're talking
some of
about
them are.
his set is, well, I guess he didn't specify, but I'm assuming it's just the standard Topps complete set. So,
Mm-hmm.
no
Agree.
foil, no
Right.
special,
Yep.
treatment.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
a lot of that set is the basiest of base stuff,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Of players that are average at best for 3 years and then disappear.
And sometimes those are the cards that sell first. There's an argument to both sides. There's an argument
There
to both
is.
sides.
And my argument is I don't necessarily want to focus on the sometimes sellers.
No, I
Focus
don't
on
think
the
that's what
most
he's saying. Like, I don't think he's just going to fill his store with all top sets. This was just that opportunity that popped up, and he
Well, I
has
get that.
he has the room and he has the time, and those are all very scannable cards. So you can scan in a whole set of those in
They
a few
are.
minutes.
But it's the old argument of you don't always have to do things just because you can.
I do them because they make me money, and that's why I would do it if that was available. Now you
And
could,
your model is upper echelon. Again, you're a mature
yeah,
seller with a strong, trusted brand with
yeah.
a lot of repeat sellers. Again, we just need that caveat that we're not all in the same place, right?
Yeah, right,
So
right.
just
Now to your argument, where I will agree with you on this one, if I found those sets today, right, where I'm at in my business, and I went in and I found those 4 sets, I would still buy those 4 sets because I still believe an entire set of those is worth $10, but I'm
sure.
not listing every card.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out the Griffeys and the Bonds and the Jeters and
Yeah.
the
Yeah. And I
maybe
do
the
that as
better
well. That's
better
kind of how I think about it.
or maybe even pull all the rookies,
Yeah.
just to list the rookies, even if they're not big names, because of where I'm at in my listings. But
Yeah.
as somebody starting out, I don't see a problem with putting that stuff in your store to get going.
Yeah. I said the same thing 3 years ago when I was starting out. And now when I look at how much of that stuff is still in my inventory, I'm like, I could have made better choices.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't have an abundance of that type of stuff. It sells regularly enough. So yeah, I guess you have to know what your market's going to be and who your buyers are, and yeah, cater. Going back to what Max said, he said, "Don't get tied to your stuff. Buy stuff that sells, and then
Yeah.
sell it to your customers." So if this is your niche and this stuff's selling to your customers, go for it.
Yeah.
We just both said we're not going to list those. So guess what? If you're the one listing them and 2 bigger stores that have a customer base, if those customers are looking for that stuff, they're going to have to buy it from you.
That's true. That's true. Now, I think we would both agree that the percentage of the population looking for those cards is pretty small.
Yeah, I think he could expand on, like I said earlier, I would list the rookies and the Ken Griffey's and that kind of thing. I think you could, as a newer seller, you could expand on that a bit and go, okay, well, these are Yankees, right?
Yeah.
Yankees have a huge buying market. I don't care who the player is. You could list all the Yankees, right? So you could take it and kind of, okay, well, I'm smaller and I'm trying to grow and I have these cards here and don't have a lot of other stuff to list. You know, I'm just looking for some return to reinvest into my store. You could grow that a little bit more than what Charlie and I would do, whereas I wouldn't pull all the, maybe I'd pull the Jorge Posada and the Mariano Rivera, but not the Nick Johnson. You know what I mean?
And I also think like lotting cards out is undervalued. I would absolutely try to sell any card I pick up. I'm going to try and sell. It doesn't matter if it's a fast mover or not. It's the channels I use to sell it that might be different, especially if I'm looking at increasing my cost from one tier of, say, eBay platform to another. If I'm going from free to the next stage and the premium, and then I'm thinking about a second store, right? Like, I need to take that into account before I just list everything, right? Is it worth the added expense to just list it? Or could I lot it up and use one listing, still move all those Yankees and do it in one purchase?
Yeah, you certainly could. I mean, obviously our philosophies and our take on lots are different. I don't do lots at all. But I can sell the cards without lotting them. And I can see the huge advantage to doing the lot. You know, and getting the multi-card, essentially that's a multi-card sale, right? Is really what a lot is.
I mean, you do lots, but you do customer picked lots.
Yes. I do like when you're in the candy store and it has like all the bins of candies and you grab a bag and then you fill it and they weigh it and that's what you pay for it. That's what I do. So I expect you to buy it in bulk, but I'm not going to tell you what you have to buy to equate to that bulk.
Right.
So it's just a couple of different approaches. I sell lots every single day.
Yeah.
Just not lots.
Not curated lots.
Not ones I curate. Right. So I mean, you know, if I have 300 cards that I sold in a day, it's probably through like 35 sales. That's it. Because it's lots of chunks of cards. Which could work great for examples like this where it's, you know, top set type stuff.
Yep.
But
now
how many boxes have you gone through where you found a bunch of 2006 Topps baseball?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I probably have a couple rows of a 5-row filled with, you know, liquidate stuff from those years. Oh, you mean when I'm digging at shows?
Yeah.
Not a lot these days. No.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, you know, that's something I would consider with this, you know, is okay, it's lower print in years. Okay. These are the stars. Okay. It's Topps, which has like a huge collector base. Like there's things that give this bonus points to where you could list more of the cards than you would if this was like, I don't know. I don't even know who made baseball then. Donruss, right? Maybe you wouldn't be able to do as well. I don't know, but good on you. You found cards at a decent price. You're listing them and they're selling. So like that's, in the end, that's success in my book.
That's
so
the big part. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If the card loose enough points at him, does it become loses the points enough?
A givey. Yeah, jump ahead one.
Oh, yeah, a givey. Yes, I'm not going to say the word, but yes, it would essentially be something that you could pass along, sure. I don't know. I mean, you have to decide what has value and what doesn't to you, and what has value to your customers and doesn't, and then work with it that way. That's all I'm going to say, because my customers are not the same as your customers, and vice versa. So, I know what my customers will buy. I have a pretty solid regular customer base where when I dig, when I dig through a box, I used to have to think a lot about cards, and I'm like, oh, Tim Tebow, buy that. Oh, this guy, buy that, because I'll list that stuff. You know, I just posted a sale in Discord that I made a couple days ago of cards I listed that morning.
Mhm.
That somebody came in and bought like 20 of them. I'm like, that's basically a live show sale, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I got market for them because the argument is, well, yeah, but then you sold it for 50%, but not really because I overprice. So that, you know, when I go to list that card and it shows up, you know, average sales is $2 for it and I charge $4.99. Well, when they buy it, they're paying $2.50.
Mhm.
So I'm in that case, I'm getting a little better than market. So to me, that's still the right, that's the sale you still want to try to go after. I price in the discount just like I price in if there's a single card sale and it's promoted or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, Givey, I'm skipping that. Great Point Boom Slang. Are you going to have? No,
I mean, technically, you don't have to say it because you have a host now.
I know. I won't be saying it. I won't be saying it. Never done Discord before. Might look into it. I suggest you do it. It's free. It works great on a phone. It works great on a desktop. You can set up all kinds of different notification levels when people post different things. You know, if it, oh yeah, that you know, I have this problem with Card Dealer Pro or whatever. Too, you can kind of read the threads. We have a bunch of really well established channels in there for different topics. Um, we have some fun things that run regularly. Charlie started a first of the day, an FOTD thread that's continues on. There's probably like 5,000 posts in there now. It's crazy.
Probably.
But a lot of the sellers like to post their first sale of the day in there. And you just kind of put a screenshot of your eBay sale or your whatnot sale or whatever in there. We have live selling tips in there, eBay tips, listing tips.
Supplies.
We have a tax section in there, which is going to heat up pretty soon. Um, you know, things about the national, because a lot of us attend the National Sports Collectors Convention, and that's a kind of a way to share some information there. You know, heads up on product releases, you know, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I suggest you look into it. I think you'll enjoy it. Uh, Max says the work is simple, the dedication is hard. That's true. That's true.
Discipline is hard.
Yeah, I see a lot of people don't want to do like, oh yeah, but then you got to list all those cards and you got to, that to me is the fun part. I actually like listing. I think that's my favorite part of selling, which is completely stupid because nobody likes that part. That's the part people have the hardest time accomplishing, but I love it. I love filling my bags and I made my buys. I like getting them listed to see, you know, when they're going to sell and love that part. And none of that happens unless you can't sell what you don't list, right?
Right.
So that to me is the key. That's where people don't get off their ass and get stuff done, and that's when they lose. Whereas I'm going to do that. I'll list all those cards. Max is going to do that. You don't want those Pokemon cards? He'll buy 1,000,000 Pokemon cards. He'll show you. So yeah, it's time consuming. You know, you have to try to fit it in with other things, and you don't get a day off. You know, you got a bunch of orders you got to ship. Well, you get your ass in this office and ship your cards. Like you can't. It's on you. In most cases, you know, if you got somebody else doing it with you, great. You know, if you can kind of pass it back and forth, but most of us are kind of doing this as our own thing, and that's the beauty of it, and that's the difficulty in it, right? So, and a lot of that comes down to, you know, what Charlie and I talk about now at this point in time, since we are established businesses and we are busy. We don't necessarily have to go after getting orders as much as we did. We have to go after more of, okay, how do I manage all this now? Like, how do I, you know, maximize my time, and how do I make sure I'm making enough money per hour as I'm working? And, you know, how do I, you know, manage the inventory? And like, it's more like that type of stuff than it is, you know, the growth mode per se. But I've never considered quitting, so I must still be doing something I enjoy.
I haven't either. Even though some days it's, you know what? I can't believe you try to stay out of your card room on the weekends, but for me, a lot of times I double down on the weekends because I just don't get much time during the week. And it's amazing to me how I can wake up in the morning sometimes, get a cup of coffee, head downstairs, and enjoy my whole day. And then the next thing I know, it's dark again.
Yeah.
And
because it's something you enjoy doing.
I don't even think about it.
Yeah, and honestly, one of my favorite parts about the business is it is just kind of mind-numbing, static work. It's not like super brain active necessarily. I like that part because a lot of my life is thought and decisions and taking chances, and I have other people who depend on me financially and stuff like that. Something breaks in my house, I got to fix it. Like there's a lot of things that I have to put real thought and effort and stuff into. Sometimes I love to just come down here, print labels, put cards in envelopes. Can't really screw that up. I mean you can, but if you have a good system you won't. And just do like a mind-numbing, envelope stuffing activity. It's great. I love it's therapy in my brain. Put a little show on in the background, some music on, whatever, and just do a slight manual labor, real easy thought type job. I like that part.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Heckler says join the Discord. It's totally worth it. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support on that, and we hope to see you in there. That the code that's going across the bottom of the screen there, that's an invite code. So go there, click the invite, it'll let you in, and then we'll all send you a nice little hello message. Max says every business is a reseller. The whole conversation is getting old. Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know how can you not? Because unless you manufacture, you have to get the products from somebody else. So you have to buy them and then you have to sell them. So that's why we talk about margins, because the whole point is what do you pay for this item and then what can you sell it for? And then whatever's in between that, that's what you get to pay for your dinner with. So that part's really important because that is where your value is. That's what you're gonna get as your take home. Yeah, there's some other fees and some other things. There's obviously operation expenses to every business too, but in the end, whatever your that percent cut is, that's yours. That's what you're doing. So yeah, you're reselling a product. Absolutely. Max says Heritage and Ginter are solid. Rips at the 150 price point or under too. Yeah, that's for sure. We kind of talked about that. It was we didn't come up with that right away when we were talking boxes, and then it sort of evolved to that. But yeah, I like those two as well.
The reason we didn't think of it right away, Adam, is because Heritage and Ginter are not great products for what we do.
No,
there are certainly some nice hits in them.
Yeah.
But overall, their markets are more depressed than like Flagship because that's where the collectors are.
I did sell 4 Livy Dunn cards this past week, though, just so you know.
Yeah. I heard something about that.
Yeah. Livy is... That's easy money. Did you see her trying to hit Paul Skeen's pitching? It was pretty funny.
I did see that, yeah.
With that stupid pencil bat? Like, what the hell are they doing?
I didn't even see her swing the bat, so maybe I didn't watch it long enough.
Yeah, well, she was terrible. Like, dude, I kind of give her credit because I don't think I'd want that dude throwing at me. Not that he doesn't have the control.
Throw one pitch.
Yeah, well, no, he threw like 4 or 5 pitches.
Yeah, I must not have watched the whole thing.
But I'm like, the guy throws like 100, and he wasn't holding back. He was like throwing them 100 miles an hour, and I'm like, what are you supposed to do with that if you've never hit a baseball before in your life? And
no chance.
I'm like, that's like super trust that and. Obviously, he has the control. He wasn't going to hit her or anything, but still, something's coming at you 100 miles an hour. It's like, whew. And like, she's just a little thing, Like if that thing hits her, it's going to blow her up.
If they wanted to stage it where Livy gets a hit off of Paul, he could have literally told. He's so good at that level. He could have said, "Just hold the bat out, and I'll hit the bat."
Right. It'll be an epic bunt, Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. It was pretty funny. And I'm not like, I don't follow her, like, or anything like that. I just know a lot of people do, and there's a lot of interest in it. Paul Skeens sells because he's an amazing pitcher, right? Good person, but he also sells because of that public, media presence as well, right?
Yeah.
So again, I don't have to like them. I buy them because I can sell them. Just like Max said. Max says, nope, storing off site. 25 boxes came home with me Sunday and over halfway done with them. Need to buy more this weekend. Wow, half done. That's crazy. You're quick. Stevens Point, Bradley's here. Stevens Point and Marshfield card show this Saturday. I don't think I'll be getting to either of those, but yeah, once I start heavily doing lives, I'm going to have to pick up more inventory more regularly, I'm pretty sure. George the Animal Steel. That's who I was talking about.
He was buds with Hogan for a while.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, they kind of started at the same time, right? Weren't they like the builders of WWF to some degree?
AWA coming up.
Okay.
Well, Hogan was coming up. George Animal Steel was already established.
Yeah, he was older.
He was a teacher, by the way, if you didn't know that. If you can imagine that guy teaching a class.
Yeah.
But then there was like the Miss Elizabeth angle where it was like Beauty and the Beast, and then Hogan was like the protector and stuff in that too. So
totally makes sense. Susie's here. Good day, Susie, from Australia.
News for you.
Yeah, we were waiting for you. Why don't you give her the good news?
Well, I saw a notification from Card Dealer Pro this week, Susie, that confirmed that they are now available in Australia. So I think you had mentioned a couple times you couldn't get their tool there. The sales release I saw actually made it sound like they released it a month or two ago.
Yep, that's what it said.
Yeah, but they should be available to you now if you want to check it out again.
So heat up those Kangaroo cards, run them through the scanner, pump them through Card Dealer Pro, and get to listing. We want to let us know if you try it. Let us know, because I want to know how it works, like in another country, if that gets weird or what.
Did you say Kangaroo cards like KO Boxing?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know, whatever. LL Cool J and a Kango hat, whatever.
Yeah,
get your Kangaroo stuff going, and get them on there. So, because we want to hear how Card Dealer Pro is working there. So let us know. We know you were waiting for it, so a message on here. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Let's see. I like the long videos. See, here we go. We got some long video people. I like to see what you are buying and selling so I can gauge the market. It helps me. That's great. I mean, and that's again partly what I'm trying to accomplish when I do that sort of thing. Honestly, on boxes like that, it's easier for me to just set up the camera, go through them. If I get to a chunk of stuff where I'm like, okay, this is all going to be the same thing, I'm not showing every card on camera, I'll do that too. And I did in this video as well. If it's a bunch of, like, what do I have here? This is 89 base Batman, right? Like, you don't need to see every card out of here. So I can show you, oh, there's the header card here, and oh, here's the character card, the first Batman card ever from the movie, because this is card number 1. Well, technically it's card number 2. This is card number 1, but that's going to have more value. Like, I'll point out like the little finer things, but then yeah, I just kind of skip through it, because if there isn't anything to talk about, I don't want to try to talk about it. But a non-sport box is more interesting to show off, I think, because I can buy a box of baseball commons and not going to be much entertainment value in that.
Yeah. And there's going to be 10,000 other dudes out there showing off their, flagship number 338 Joe baseball card.
Yeah, there's so much of it. It's so overproduced. Like, like Batman. Oh, I remember those Batman cards. Like, even if it just throws some nostalgia to you, like it can be fun. But those scratch off game cards were pretty cool. I thought the battle cards or whatever they're called.
Okay.
Those are kind of fun. So you have a deck, I have a deck, and then when you play a character, there's all these different little, kind of like a lottery ticket, right? There's all these different little scratch off spots, and then you have to like scratch off where you want to attack, and it'll give you like, that's how you find out if you're successful or not, is based on
Right.
what you scratch off. And I don't know, I think stuff like that's cool. And that also means a bunch of people scratched them. These are unscratched, so that adds some rarity to it. But yeah, stuff like that, like you're not going to find that in a baseball box.
No.
So now you could go through the baseball box and find a couple of gems, or, oh, hey, there's a numbered card in there they forgot to pull out, or something like that. But it's not going to have a lot of sustaining entertainment value. So the non-sport tends to do a better job with that. What else did I pull out over here? I have Star Wars Galaxy, and then these were interesting. There's a couple of Star Wars cards that I don't really see very often. Do you know what these are from?
That is that like a restaurant set or something?
Close.
Okay. Enlighten me.
This is from Kellogg's cereal.
Okay. Yeah.
And then this is actually a sticker, so you can actually peel this.
Okay.
Too, even though it just looks like a cardboard card. But yeah, some of those kind of cards you don't see very often, and
yeah,
those will do well. Here's another one. This is another one from Kellogg's, which is great because it's got Boba Fett and Darth Vader on it. That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, two of the most liquid characters in Star Wars.
Yeah. Luke and Leia. Ooh, I bought some new playing card decks.
Okay.
I know you think I'm crazy and why would you even buy these, but I have some pretty good success with them, so that's why I keep doing it. But I found out there was an entire deck of just Princess Leia.
Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, did you see those? So it's these. But the big attraction, or the big money, I mean, they're all Leia on them, which obviously helps, but there's tons of Slave Leia cards. Like here's one in the bikini. Easy money.
Did you find those online or at a store or what?
I found these. I got these online. Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say, because every time I see marketed cards like that with IP,
another bikini,
it's just the backside that has a static design, and then it's a normal playing card on the other side.
You have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So I mean, look at this. Look at this gem right here.
Mm-hmm.
Money, $10 card, easily. So yeah, there's just good stuff, and just good overall. Just lay up. I mean, it's a different picture on every single card. That's what you really want when you're buying decks. I like this one where Jabba's about to lick her.
Yeah.
That's just solid gold stuff.
That's what I'm seeing. All the retail decks are the same picture on all the backs, right?
Yeah, not all of them. There's honestly, you have to look for certain companies that make card decks.
Yeah.
And that's who does it correctly, in my opinion. Here's the famous No Bras in Space card. So hey, again, I'm sorry, this stuff sells, so I'm gonna buy it. Whether it's, sexist or it doesn't matter. There's people who adore Princess Leia and spend up for her cards. So playing card decks make sense for this character. There's also a Women of Star Wars deck that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
So that's on the docket. But I bought 4 decks of these. So I just listed them all as quantity listing, 4 quantity listings. Yeah, fun. Okay, let's see what else we got on here. We're not getting to any of our topics tonight either, Charlie.
No, that's okay, because really, it's all about the chat on most nights.
I agree.
Our topics are just to fill some of the space when the chat's kind of quiet.
Yeah, we've been good and active the last few weeks, so that's good. We appreciate all of you. By the way, if you want to join, if you're watching this recorded and you want to join the live chat and be a part of the show, we're live every Wednesday at 8 Central Standard Time. Charlie's usually on here, or he's a black screen. You never really know. So that's part of the fun. But yeah, join us every Wednesday. Like the channel, or subscribe, I should say, to the channel. Like the video. Share it to somebody if you think someone else would enjoy it. And ring the bell if you want to be notified when we go live, because I know it's hard for me to remember stuff. If you ring the bell, it'll send you a notice when we're live, and you can say, "Oh crap, I got to get on the live." And don't be alarmed if you don't get that notice until like 8:10, because that's generally when we actually start. So, but yeah, true story. I would guess most of us full-timers probably work about the same, but I have to spend a lot less of money last week. Spent almost half my write-offs of 2025 in 2 days last week. Yuck. Yeah, but I know what you're saying, but yeah, it's just when the opportunities present themselves, right? The hope in that is, okay, yeah, you had to do all that up front, but the hope in that is that you end up making more money, right? Or you, at least in the long term, you would. But yeah, that's if a million cards popped up on my desk as a reasonable purchase, like I feel like there was value in that purchase, it'd be tough. It'd be tough to say yes, I'm going to do it, and it'd be tough to turn it down. That's a bad spot. I mean, it's a good spot to be in, but it's a bad spot to be in. So yeah, I don't envy you on that one. So I'm glad you pulled the plug and you did it. I think it's fun. Be good to see what you do. That's spot on. I put up a few Batman cards over a year ago and no sale. I was given some Spider-Man cards. I say on them for over 6 months because of no sales of the Batman. So you decided not to list them because of the Batman. Then I finally put some Spider-Man cards, and then the next day 3 sold. Yeah, so a lot of it is just luck too. Sometimes when your listing gets old, it just doesn't sell because the listing is old too, and you can pull the listing down and just relist it, and you'll get some new activity out of that sometimes too. But yeah, non-sport's tough. It's not like, okay, like for this week, right, is a Super Bowl, so you got Sam Darnold rookie cards laying around or Drake May rookie cards laying around. List them; they're going to sell right away this week if you price them right. You can't really do that with Batman. Like that's not, even when they announce like a new actor that's playing Batman or a new movie, it's usually not enough to move like 1989 Batman cards. So it's a little bit different that way. Sold a bunch of those All-Star Game foils. Just sold one the other day. Yeah, they sell super well for me. That was one of my best buys ever. I wish I could have found more sets. I wish they still made them that way. Now they do them as like packs or something stupid. Also listing those top sets is generated a lot of multi-card orders. Yeah, that's a good point. So there's a lot of set collectors that are tops collectors. They just collect every year of top sets. Those sets are a little bit harder to find. Like I said, they were less printed. People were kind of out of the hobby at the time. There wasn't a lot of hype for it. And now they're going back to collect, finish their 2006 set. You happen to list every card and they need 10 cards to finish their set. They're just going to order all 10 from you. I get that a lot with non-sports. When I buy non-sport, I try to buy sets, to be honest with you, because that's usually what I get. Somebody comes in and they're buying, like, I sold a bunch of Aliens cards the other day out of those non-sport boxes. Well, I had almost a whole set, like 1 through 65 or something like that. So somebody who's just like waiting to finish their Alien set could come in and buy all 5 cards, one shipping price, or no shipping in my case. That made a lot of sense, right? So yeah, that's a good point. You can end up with more lots, buying something that's similar. All right, the older stuff I would either sell as complete or team set it out, or take stars and sellables out and dump the rest. Yeah, I mean, you could do that too. You could just pull the stars and some of the better rookies and that. Take the rest of the cards, start filling a 5-row box. When you fill it up, you sell a commons box for $20-$25 and you get out of them. That's something you could do too. Or give them away or whatever you want to do with it. Give them away as givvies when you ship cards out, So yeah, that's an option too. You know, if you just want to see them go bye.
Even modern stuff, I've started sorting out right away. If I buy a hobby box or something, and I've got 80 to 90% of that box are things that are going to be longer tail, I sort it out differently now. There's things I want to list right away. There's things I want to lot out in a small, curated lot, and there's things I want to do a large bulk lot in.
How many cards are you selling a day? Cards, not lots, not item. Like individual cards.
Yeah, I sell 10 to 20 a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, see, for me, I sell a couple hundred a day.
Yeah.
So even if I'm listing cards that day, I'm still at a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like I can list a few extra cards that maybe won't sell right away because I have so many cards that will sell right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost looking to like constantly fill the store versus no, I just got to sit here because nothing's selling. You know what I mean? So some of that might be like the strategy on how you sell them. I don't know. If you don't want to do as fast a turn, you're looking for more money per card instead. Either way is fine, but yeah, it's going to change a little bit on what you list then. Not a little bit. It's going to change a lot what you list.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah. No, when I'm sitting here and I got a stack of stuff that I paid, a quarter a card for, like here's a Michael Irvin, Prism. Here's another Michael Irvin Prism, Roger Staubach, die cut silver. Like I'm still going to list these before I list the common 2006 Topps baseball cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you're trying to get at is you're still going to prioritize. And I do that, but I'm not afraid to throw in like some random who cares about it players here and there too, because I can let those sit a bit because I get enough turnover on the other stuff that it's not really taking up any space. There's a lot of times, like I'll list a whole stack of those where it's like Steve Young and Joe Montana and like all these guys that have hobby and they sell. Mm-hmm. And I list a Bears Dan Hampton card, right? And that's like the first fucking card that sells. Excuse my language. I don't normally use that word on here. It slipped, but my point is, and we've said this in the past, you don't know what's going to sell.
True. Cards sell when they sell.
And I love it when a card like that sells because I'm like, that had no business selling. I'll take my buck and I'll list my Joe Montana, which will have a better margin and a better market to it. And that's a better listing for me. So, but I mean, by that philosophy, you would never list Sports Illustrated for kids cards, right? Because it's swimmers and, polo players and those aren't going to have big hobby.
Yeah. A lot of those are like first cards though. So that becomes a little different. There's scarcity that's built into some of those.
But there is in a 2005 less printed top set too,
Yeah.
If that was like a 1991 Topps baseball minus like chipper rookies and those obvious ones, I'd be like, oh man, there's a lot of those cards out there.
Yeah.
I don't know that you'd want to be listing all those. I don't know. So it's, to me, there's a lot of variables in that as to that could change whether or not I would do it. Right now, I wouldn't because I have other better stuff to list. So, let's see, where am I? Here we go. I took down a lot of my stale inventory and listed them at auction. Some of them sold for more than my buy it now price. Yeah, that's a good point. That's something I do too. I have auctions running almost all the time in my stores. So I'll grab I try to keep it to like color or numbered cards just because that does, you're going to get more attraction in an auction. But they're generally no-name play like here. But they're going to be generally no-namer players or no hobby players. Trying to see if I had like I don't have any in here right now. Anyway, I always have a stack of those because I'll buy like a big lot of just like random numbered cards of players.
Yeah.
And they work super good for that. So that's what I do. So I always have auctions running, and those. Here we go. Here's a bunch of them. And here's a Deshaun Jackson, right? Numbered out of 999. Here's an Origins Julio Jones, numbered out of 299. Here's an Arian Foster, numbered out of 250. Like, not big name players. Jeremy Maclin, green out of 250. You can see the 250 down there. So this is like an Andy Dalton out of 99, right? Andy Dalton, gold standard. Because I think those are more likely cards that would sit, but I can get some action in them on auctions because they're shorter print. And I think that's a good way to get other customers in your store too.
So I think, I look at this, taking stale inventory down, listing them at auction. Some of them sold for more than my buy it now price. That's a valid exit strategy for them. Okay. Mm-hmm. You're recognizing stale inventory. You're doing something different with them to try and get them to move. The only thing I would say is you are handling these multiple times. And what I'm saying is I'm trying to get better at really predicting what the chance to move those are the first time. So I handle them once.
Yeah, well, obviously that's ideal, but
yeah,
you could have a stack of 1,000 Tom Brady cards, and you're still going to have some of those that won't sell.
Yeah,
and you won't know which ones. Like you could sell all the Chronicles cards, and you're like, who the hell's buying Chronicles base cards? And have all the certified cards left. Like nobody bought those, and you'd be like, why the hell? You don't know that. So does that mean listing the certified cards is wrong? No. And you're handling them another time, but basically you're just going into those listings and you're just going auction, send, and that's it. That's all it takes to send it to auction.
You're still having to sort it out to see what you want to convert to auction and identify that stale inventory. And it comes down to more labor cost and spend in your operation. Yeah,
but I mean, do you think you're going to get to a point where you never have stale auction or still inventory?
Well, never.
Because that's not possible.
Yeah, that's a pretty grand, goal there.
Yeah.
But don't you want to continue to try and minimize it?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, if something hasn't sold in a year, I just leave it there. I don't do anything with it. Because I agree with you. I don't want to put my hands on it again. And it'll sell. Like I just pointed this out last week. I sold a card out of my very first bag that I made last week. I didn't do anything different with it. It sat there until it found a buyer, and then it sold. And the best part about it is it sold with other cards.
Yeah.
So it might have been the reason I even got a sale, and now I sold additional cards because of it.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know that. But so I don't take anything down and sell it somewhere else. I don't handle it a second time until it sells. Then I pull it.
Some people also don't have a lot of options for storing their inventory.
Right.
They have space constraints, right? Or they're not able to go out and get a storage unit or whatever it may be. So that has to be taken into account too. I think we all undersell inventory costs. And I do it too. We never really talk about that. We just
you mean like what you spent on your inventory?
Huh?
You mean like what you spent on inventory?
No, what it costs to store inventory.
I mean,
in terms of the space,
it takes up like 8 square feet in my office. That's it.
Today,
plus a few boxes.
Build it up.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's the whole point. Like this, we're not talking about like, oh, this is what I do day one. No, this is once you're established, what do you do then? I don't know. Now, I would say if you truly don't have any space anywhere to store inventory, you're probably not in the right business.
Yeah.
Then you should just do live selling. There's a reason a lot of people go right to live selling, and that's all they do. Because they buy a box of cards at a show, they bring it home, they put it on camera, they don't have really any listing responsibilities, they just number the list, the the selling, 1 through 100 or whatever it is. Whatever sells, they ship. Whatever doesn't sell, they throw in a lot and get a couple bucks for it, and they ship that, and they're done. And then they do the next one. I just don't know that's, to me, that's a lot of just constant work to constantly get the flip.
Right.
So you're still going to be putting in that much effort. Now you got to go buy another 100 cards so you can have another show, or your income stops. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
And then what are you getting on the cards? Are you selling them for half of what they are at market? If you're one of the lucky sellers that gets, a bunch of viewers in, or you're running that, business at a high level, and you can get more money selling it live, then that's great. And that does make a lot of sense for sure.
Yeah. But
I would say most people, when they're starting out, you're not going to get what you get if you mark your own price on it. So yeah, that would be one way to get rid of the, like, I don't have room for inventory problem, would be to just buy stuff and just sell it right away.
As long as you can keep up with the churn.
That's my point. Like, you're not getting out of anything. You're just doing something else to get your sustainability.
Yeah.
Versus maintaining the inventory and having it ready for when someone's ready to buy, and then it pops and you send it out. Which is the way I choose to run my business. And now I'm adding in a live angle to that. I think a lot of live sellers will eventually add in inventory. Especially since Whatnot, let's say Whatnot is your place of choice for live selling. They do allow you to list static for sale items on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no right or wrong. It's just do stuff.
There's not.
It's a do stuff thing. Lovely weather we're having. Isn't it though?
That's the first we heard from Dan tonight.
It is, kind of, yeah. I'm just getting tired of the work with really low end. See, and that's what we were talking about. Yeah, a lot of people don't. If you're not enjoying it, it does take effort. You can do something else. He said he's going to start doing lots. Well, that's an option. You're going to get less money, just so you know. Let's see. Johnny M is here. Evening, guys. In the process of listing 96 Pinnacle Starburst and 98 Pinnacle Museum singles. From them are selling well. Even commons. Nice. All live sellers should. I'm sorry?
I'm not familiar with those sets at all.
Me either. All live sellers should run CVIG to attract people to see your great cards you're selling. I don't know what that means. Oh, I get it. Very funny, Dan. You spelled the word backwards. Very creative. You stink. That's awesome. Funny. Stop it. It is not. The only thing that keeps me up at night is, will I still be able to keep buying at the same rate? Yeah, I mean, capital's part of the thought for sure. I feel like Ginter is the product for low end resellers. I actually sell quite a bit of Allen and Ginter. Even the base stuff. The X products are good, where it's like the all black card. I've done well with those. The minis sell pretty well. I mean, heck, I sell a bunch of the bird cards or the lighthouse cards. Like, that's just a product that, like, people just love it. At least for what I sell, because I sell weird shit. So, it works for me. Half done on the 25 that I brought home, not overall. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. 25 boxes, not the million cards.
Yeah.
Wacky inserts, minis, and non-sport folk and Ginter. Yes, exactly.
It is fun.
Livy Duns. Let's see. Oh, oops.
I love the dog show cards.
Yeah, those are fun too. I like the whales and the sharks and stuff. Those are fun.
Yeah. I can
Marshfield,
do
they're running a
weird
show.
bones cards last year though.
Yeah, I didn't like those. The dinosaur ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are. I mean, they're not going to have a home run on everything, I guess. It's in the mall or the scared old guy that ran a 10 table. Susie says good news on the CDP functions for Australia. So, about damn time. That's fair. I know you've been waiting for it. So we talked earlier this week. We're like, we're so excited to see Susie on Wednesday because I don't know if she knows, but Australia, you can do stuff. Kangaroo cards. Yep. If they legit made kangaroo cards, you know who would buy them?
You. There you go. You.
Send me a complete set. I'll take them. Susie says, thanks for letting me know. You are welcome. She's selling lots of Spider-Man now. See, that's what I mean. You got to find like your non-sports like sport that way. You got to find like your people and what they're buying. I had someone spend 400 Australian dollars on them. That's a great sale. Susie likes the Kellogg cards. Max plans to triple his online sales this year. That's fantastic. Good for you. I hope you do it. I hear those SI kids sell very good, like Charlie said. Yeah, I made a living on SI kids cards for like 6 months. It was amazing. And I still sell a lot of them, but it's just not as big a chunk as it was. It's a little harder to find deals on them now. The cat's out of the bag on those. Mm-hmm. But we are all subscribed to the magazine and get the new cards every month. So we obviously believe in them. In my opinion, no store should ever get to 60,000 in sports cards. I think that's what Charlie is getting at. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, they charge you. Whoa, Charlie's a ghost.
Look at this. This is crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, they charge you. Yeah, but they charge you monthly allows you 60,000 listings. So I don't see why you wouldn't go to 60,000 listings. It doesn't cost anything if you have the cards to list. Capital not an issue. Inventory is okay. Boomslang says I have the complete 1994 Series 1 museum collection. Nice. Oh, museum collection. That's the like the Dufex foil parallel versions of the cards, I believe.
Oh, okay.
They call them museum collection. So now I know what you're talking about. Like trophy collection and stuff. They had those too. Yeah, those are amazing cards. Some of the major players, go for decent money in those if you have good condition. So yeah, very cool. There's my yawn. It's getting late for me. I haven't been able to make I've been too busy. I haven't been able to make a sales day video yet this week. So I'm going to try to do one by the weekend. We'll see how it goes. Sales have been really good. So I've been trying to spend my time that I would maybe be putting a video together, just listing, because I'm down. Like right now I'm at 59,300 something. Okay. So I mean, I got 700 spots open. That's a lot of scanning. So, I'm just trying to keep scanning and keep the store full.
If you don't fill those spots?
Nothing.
But it sounds like you feel a little bit of pressure to fill them.
No, I just like to see it full. Why not? I'm paying $60 to have a store. If I've got 700 more cards that I can put in there that could get sales, I want to do it.
Okay.
So, I mean, Toys R Us sold more toys than Walmart did, right? Because they had a lot of aisles of toys.
Aren't they out of business?
That's because they didn't have an online model. Come on, Charlie. Read the journal.
You gotta be careful with some of those examples you throw out there.
It's But you're putting in like other things that aren't part of the topic of what we're talking about.
Well, that's
The
the
point.
world. Everything's
The,
got other things.
yeah, it's like, I mean, you have to have, to me, a successful online card store will have something to offer anyone who comes there. Remember, I talked about that with the Shopify store, why I'm not launching that yet, because to launch my own store where I have to do all the promoting and all the advertising and stuff, I want it to be correct when it goes.
Yeah.
And I want any single person who comes to my store that's wants a trading card, I want there to be something in that store for them. And that's a daunting task. That's a lot of cards, different types of cards. So now, will someone walk into my store and I don't have something for them? Of course, I'm sure that will happen, but I want to get it as close to the mark as I can.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So this is funny. I'm reading this comment from Max. I feel like you want to be at 60K and not 0. No, I don't. I would love it if somebody bought all 60K of my cards. But it's funny coming from a guy who just bought 1 million cards. I feel like you want 1 million cards and not 0 cards. No, that's the point is the selection, right? So somebody comes to my store. Let's say you only have 5,000 listings, right? And you're focusing only on like legends and Hall of Famers, right? That's not a terrible business model in cards. But now somebody comes in and they're like, oh, I really want a couple Drake May cards. I really like them. And, he's going to the Super Bowl. You're not going to have any Drake May cards. So there's no way you can get a sale to that customer.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to meet their cart demands. So I don't want to do that. I want to, if somebody comes in and wants, Larry Bird cards, great. I have plenty of Hall of Fame and legendary cards for you to choose from. And I'm sure there's some Larry Bird cards in there that you would enjoy. But I also want, the next person who comes in that says, I want some Drake May cards because he's hot right now and he's going to the Super Bowl. I want to have Drake May cards too. So it means you have to increase your listings. Like that's the only way you're going to get to that. But yeah, obviously if somebody came in and they're like, I want to buy all 60,000 of your cards, you bet your ass I'm going to sell them. And I have plenty more, I'll start my listings again. I think every one of us would agree to that. But yeah, I'm certainly happy that they're selling down. That is definitely the goal for sure.
If they're not selling down, you're not a successful business.
Right. Correct. But we also talk about always be buying. Well, if you're always buying, you got to get them listed too. Like you need to put them in there. Well, so if I have room to put them in there and it costs me nothing to do it because I'm already paying for that storage in my store, right? That's essentially what you're doing when you pay your monthly fee. Why wouldn't I do that? Like that wouldn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of times, like I just shared that example earlier, where I scan a whole bag in and somebody comes in and buys 25 of the 30 cards that I just scanned in. So clearly it was worth it for me to, scan those additional cards. Yeah. Or consequently, they only buy 1 card from that new scan lot, but they buy 10 other cards from my store. So now I'm using my new listings to sell some of my older listings. Right? And eBay likes that listing activity. They want you to list.
They do. But sounds like there's not really a number to hit every day.
Nope.
It's just list something.
Yeah. And I don't. There's lots of days where I don't even list anything because I just do other stuff. But yeah, if I got time and I use a scanner, it doesn't take me very long to scan in a batch of cards and get them listed.
Yeah.
Like even these cards now, even this die cut silver Roger Staubach, I scan that now. This green mosaic Michael Irvin, I scan that. I'm not taking individual pictures for this stuff, so it doesn't really take me any time to list them.
Yeah.
You scan a batch of 40 cards in and list them in, I don't know, what does it take you? 15 minutes maybe? 20 minutes? Somewhere in there.
Right and stuff.
So do that twice.
part of it.
But I don't see the point in being at 50,000 listings if I have cards to list. That makes no sense to me when you're paying for 60,000 listings. Yeah.
I agree with that. My argument was that I don't believe you should just list something for the sake of listing. Like, there should be a reason you're listing that card.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't have anything good to list, I'd find other stuff to list that maybe wasn't as good, just so I could still get listings if there's still spaces.
Yeah.
And what determines what card is good? A higher probability sale rate. Okay, that makes sense. But I just gave the example of I list 40 cards and that are all great high name, level names that sell regularly, and I threw in one scrubby dude in there that I didn't know. That's the first card that sells. Like, you don't know.
You don't.
It's not possible to know. Now, would I list an entire store of just scrubby dudes and expect to have good sales volume? No, of course not. I mean, you have to use the sense to it. You have to mix them in.
We're looking at a microeconomic lens right now, and I wholeheartedly believe if we were to look at a macroeconomic view of the market, those scrubby guys are going to be a small percentage of sales.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's also a smaller percentage of sellers selling them.
Yeah, that's fair. So
if I think
one, you have to go to one of them.
Right. So if you want to look at it at a macro and you want to add that other piece in where, what's the percentage of those selling? You also have to include in how many people are selling it, right?
Yeah.
That's your true mac. So there's no right or wrong. Like, if you don't want to list the common cards from those 2006, 2007 baseball sets, I don't think that's wrong. Yeah. If you want to list those cards and try to sell them, I don't think that's wrong. You might want to put an expiration date on those and say, hey, if I'll sell as many of these as I can over the next year. If they don't, I'm pulling the scrubby dudes out because I'll have a stronger, business picture at that point, and I could use those listings for something better that will move.
Yeah.
And send them to auction or pull them out and give them away or whatever you want to do with it. That might be your best strategy for something like that.
Yeah.
Or do lots. Yeah, whatever you want to do. But I had a Vikings buyer come in and buy, 40 some cards a couple days ago, and he bought some Viking players I'd never heard of before. Because whenever I list vintage, I list all of them. I don't care who it is, but so some of it was like 1981 and 1982 tops and stuff like that, and almost all the modern ones were like better names. John Randall was probably about the biggest stretch in those names. Most of them were Randall Cunningham, Warren Moon, Randy Moss, and all those guys. But you get a team buyer, you can sell any card.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
But then again, Team Watts is a good way to appeal to
team buyers. Yep. The thing I don't like about lots I would make up is you'd really have to hit somebody that wants all those cards. And that's tough.
I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of those buyers, they're looking for, if they see 3 or 4 cards they like, they're fine with it.
But then they don't want to pay very much because they're only looking at buying the 3 to 4 cards.
But a lot of those cards are going to be $1.99 cards anyway, where you're making 75 cents on them.
Sure, but so let's say you take a lot of 20 not no name Vikings cards, right? What are you going to sell that lot for?
Of 20?
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere between $9.99 and $14.99.
Yeah, I think you'd have a hard time getting that sale unless somebody wanted all the cards.
Okay.
I think you'd get like $3 to $4 for that lot. If they wanted 3 or 4 cards, like, what your example was.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just that doesn't make sense. It's not enough money. You know, but that's like I said, you know, you have to do it how you do it. I like let people make their own lots because then at least I still get $1 a card.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell a 20 card random Vikings lot of no name players for $20. You're not going to. But I can get $20 because somebody came in and picked out the ones that they wanted.
With your coupon.
With the coupon, right. Well, it would have been $40 because it would have been $1.99 a card for 20 cards, which would have been $40. So they're getting them for 20. So I'm getting $1 a card. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why I do it. That's why that's my strategy to do it. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong. There's plenty of lot sellers that do very well. I think that's great. That's a great way to move cards, especially cards that don't have a lot of hobby. But monetarily wise, I think I shouldn't say I think, I know I get more money doing it the way I do it. If you get the buyers, you need customers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. And that's where your level of brand recognition and trust is really a premium lever for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think having the extra marketplaces helps too. So like maybe that scrub player from 2006 Topps isn't a great listing, but now you're listing it on Collects and whatnot and eBay. Now you've kind of upped your odds of getting someone that's interested in that car. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, I mean, Tom Brady you can sell on any platform, so it's not that relevant. Versus something where it's a little harder to get a sale if you can get more exposure to it.
Yeah.
That will definitely help your odds. There's a lot of stuff I saw on Whatnot where I'm like, why the hell are you buying this? And like even more so than eBay, and I saw some weird. Yeah, $5 shipping. Yeah, $1.50 card, and you're paying $5. Yeah, I don't get it, but it happens. So I'm going to keep listing the cards that sell on there because why wouldn't I? That might be a good place to try to sell lots because I don't really see a lot of people selling lots on Whatnot.
Yes, so
that might be your best, market if you're trying to get more money out of it. Yeah, you can sell the 20 Vikings card lot for $4 on eBay. That's great. But I bet you could get almost double that if you did it on Whatnot.
So honestly, that is my target for my first live selling shows. Lots.
Yeah. That might be, I think you got something there. I think that's a solid approach.
Well, now everybody's got it.
Well, sorry. You're the one who just said it. I just came up with the idea, but you're the one who said you're going to do it.
No, I think that's an undeveloped market on Whatnot, honestly.
I agree. That's something that I've observed on there too. And if that's something you're interested in, that's a great place to go and do that. Absolutely. And I do believe you'll get more money there, which of course is the goal. So, but you'll find out. I mean, there's not a lot of data to back that up. It's just my experience and my observation and, my own buying and selling.
Right.
And my understanding of margins. And like, I have a lot of stuff just built in my head. And when I put all that calculator to it, it makes a lot of sense. So lots on Whatnot, I think is a great idea. So
now I just make it happen.
Lots on eBay is kind of white noise. There's so much.
Yeah.
And unless you have like the specific cards that somebody's really looking for, it's tough. It's a tough move on there for a good price. But I don't know.
I think just like you built your brand one way, I think you have to commit to building your brand to be a lot provider too. Like you just can't just list 10 lots one day and expect they're going to go fast, right?
No, and well, you need more listings, right? Didn't we just argue about that? So I think that's what's important here is you have to, just like we talk about with the live shows, you got to be consistent with them. You got to be consistent with the way you sell too. Like if I saw a lot of non-sport cards, if I just stopped buying and listing non-sport cards, I'm going to lose that audience. Like, why would they stick around if I never do any new listings, right? Like, you have to I mean, what you do for a living, right? What if you guys just all of a sudden decided to, well, we're going to open restaurants now instead? Like, how well would that go? You know, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you have to take what you are, build on it, and and keep that consistency with it, because it's so easy to go the other way in a hurry. You know, to lose everybody that you took building up. You know, took your time building to. So I think if you could build a big whatnot lots buying following, I think you got something. I think that's a great spot.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm all in favor of that, and if you're doing it, I want to hear how it goes. So, you let us know, because I think it's a unique spot, and I think it's a potentially successful one.
Yeah, it could be.
So now you just have the responsibility of not screwing it up.
Exactly. I had a conversation with somebody at work today that's looking at a new role, and they're actually being sought out for it. And I had a very similar conversation where I said, listen, you're going to have a fit conversation. And while those conversations really won't win you the role because you've already been kind of tapped on the shoulder, you can lose it in those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, things can go bye-bye. That's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So businesses can be very fickle.
Yeah.
Customers can be very fickle.
True. Well, we're almost 3 hours in, man.
Yeah, we're done. I'm going to bed.
We're over.
It's 11 o'clock. It's way past my bedtime.
So I'm going to give you the winter chaos and hobby wisdom recap for the night.
Nice.
So Super Bowl weekend is here. Excited for that. Screens and iguanas are freezing up. Rollo is undefeated in the label business. Whatnot's leveling up with Adam. Topps football is coming, and we're all excited. Non-sport cards are buzzing. The Discord remains a national treasure.
Nice.
And the lesson still stands. You never really know what will sell, and cards sell when they sell. I'll see you all next week.
Can't sell what you don't list. We'll see you next week.